I decided I'm going to post this anyway. It don't have to be in 2 parts though, because like I said, YouTube won't allow a video over 12 hours to be posted. First and foremost, if you are watching this video, more likely you are sad or depressed in some way. So, first thing I can say to you is I absolutely recommend you should talk to a doctor, both your family doctor and a therapist. And you should also, as long as you feel you can trust them, you should definitely talk to your family, your friends, whoever would be your support group. Funny thing, was actually a really big thunderstorm last night when I was working. Just another night working third shift for Skynet building Terminators. The ceiling and the walls actually shook a little bit of the building. Some of the people were a little startled. I'm like, oh guys, it just means they're turning the air conditioning units on. We don't have air conditioning units in the area where we build shit. In fact, to save money, they turned the fans off a few months back. They're like, oh, it's winter, you don't really need those. I'm like, I disagree. It's kind of warm, but we'll get those back on in April. And like I said, I'm considering the possibility of, in case I'm not, because my job is a very physically exertive job. So in case after doing the surgery, and like I said, I have to do the surgery. It's, there's this has to be repaired, otherwise I will die. So it's just the whole idea of the surgery does bother me. Probably a contributing factor to why I wound up reacting the way I did during the course of the 13-hour video. But I guess emotions like that got to come out at some point. But yeah, so I might get like an office job or something, trying to help people get approved for medication by their insurance companies and stuff. In case, I don't feel up to doing lots of physical, as is, I feel like my knees hate me. Hell, my left ankle was wanting to give out at me while I was working. But, I'm of course a little lightheaded. Probably have to look up results of blood tests and stuff I did yesterday. But maybe later today I can go get those x-rays taken care of. And before I get too much into that stuff, I'm already 3 minutes in. Like I said, you guys can't trust me to start talking about stuff. Otherwise, I ramble on forever. But main thing I'm trying to say is this. If any of you out there are sad or depressed, you should go talk to your doctor. Both in regard to your family doctor and, see a therapist if that's possible. Also, I'm going to include some links down below, the same links I put in the video that, I posted yesterday saying I was never going to post the audio from the 13-hour stream because, let's be honest, it basically is a time lapse of mental breakdown. So, yeah. But I'll put those same links on there. They're just ASMRs that I think would be helpful to if any of you feel the way I do during the course of this video. And in fact, what I would recommend right now is this. No matter what, I set every single one of my videos as not recommended for kids because honestly, I don't think anyone under the age of 18 should even be on YouTube. But honestly, I would say not only should no one under the age of 23 listen to these videos, or heck, watch any of my videos. I'm actually going to put this in the other part of this thing when I record it. I'm going to put it as an age restriction on it, just because it does cover some very mature, dark subjects like suicide and stuff like that. But in general, I would recommend just not listening to this video at all. Because it's literally just a mental breakdown in audio form. It's going to consist of me singing terrible karaoke, and then just devolving into personal conversations, self-depreciative talk, as well as just crying and screaming to the point that I cry so hard I start violently vomiting / hyperventilating and even pass out for like 90 minutes. So, yeah. That's what you're walking into with this. That's the video is literally going to be like most of my channel is just cringy shit. This is just straight up fucking cursed. But hey, my hope is that by posting this, it would at least help someone, I guess. I don't know. Main point I'm trying to say is, by watching this video, you are making a promise to me that whoever you are out there, viewer, by watching this video, you are making a promise to me that you will get help for whatever depressing, sad issues that you have. You will see your doctor. You will see a therapist. By watching this video, you are making a promise. You are agreeing to that promise, and you're giving me your word that you will go out and get help. Because I said, I'll be doing some I did blood work yesterday. I'm doing some x-rays later today. I'll probably just leave this thing recording for a while, so that since I do have to go back to work tonight and all that stuff, at least I don't go and work early, I'm just going to have this thing recording while I'm trying to sleep, while I go take a shower, while I go to the store, while I run errands, while I go downstairs and maybe try to play my guitar. Don't worry, it won't be turned up so loud you guys can hear it up here. I do have to be mindful of my neighbors, not that anyone seemed to notice me screaming at the top of my lungs as if I was in a damn Saw movie. Which, on the one hand, I'm glad, because I've never had a single noise complaint. On the other hand, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I'm getting off topic. Main thing I'm trying to say is this. I argued with myself so much about whether or not I should actually post this or not. Because it's like a lot of my channel is just cringe, but this is just so far beyond it. Like, the filter and the wall is just completely gone. It's raw as possible. Not only do I sing terribly, but honestly, it's just the most fucked up crying and shit and laugh at whatever bullshit you ever heard. And of course, like I go off on conversations and I sound like a pretentious fucking dick. And I sound like just a pathetic, whitey, pussy ass bitch. But the main point being, I was like, well, the video makes me look very bad. And I imagine anyone who watches the video would be like, wow, we all hate Lunar D8 because of just how fucking bad this is. So I was like, I shouldn't post this. And then part of me was like, that just be kind of cowardly. Like, you try to just hide that away. Like, no, guys, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like not like it would really benefit anybody. And the main thing, I did get the benefit of the catharsis of just, screaming about that shit and all that. But main thing I'm trying to say is this. I am fine. I am seeing a doctor. I will start seeing a therapist. I'm doing x-rays later today. At some point, I'm wanting to do a CAT scan, MRI. Those are actually two different things. An MRA and an MRI are two different things. And they're not a CAT scan either. That's three different things. But I can't do that today because that's, you can't do too much all in one day. Plus, I have other things I have to do. Main thing I'm trying to say is this. I'm hoping that by posting this video, it causes what random 5 people that are eventually going to come across this, because probably only 5 people at most are ever going to see this video. But at least those 5 people that come across it, the YouTube algorithm brought you here for a reason. And it was for you to ignore the video and just click on the links below. Because like I said, the links below I would definitely suggest. They'll be an extra bit of help for you. The people down below are actually wholesome, nice people. I am a very cursed individual, and I am a monster. But the people down below in the links, they're nice. So they'll help you. The rest of the video is just going to be me screaming and crying, saying the most horrible, monstrous things, self-depreciating, pity party fucking talk, and just, it's literally a nervous breakdown, mental breakdown, psychotic break, recorded in audio form. And it's so fucking long that I can't even just record it in one video. I have to split it up because YouTube won't let me. So yeah. So I imagine anybody listening to this would probably lose whatever tiny bit of respect they ever would have had for me. Not that really anybody would have in the first place. But main thing is this. I'm fine. I would never do anything to hurt myself or anything. It's fine. I just sometimes feel a bit sad. And during the course of the 13-hour video, a lot of those emotions came out. Heck, I imagine there's people in the FBI that'll probably listen to this. So there'd be 4 random people, and then the 5th person will just be the entire FBI. And you're like, is the FBI going to hurt Lunar D? I'm like, no, because it's not like I've ever hurt anyone ever. The worst thing I do is walk around my living room and talk to myself, and then now I talk to video games. I will try to be more social, but it's kind of hard with all the COVID pandemic stuff. It's kind of made it hard to talk to people, more so than before. But then again, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, it was a big argument with myself as far as whether or not I should post this or not. Because on the one hand, it's just so fucking fucked up. On the other hand, it makes me look really, really bad and stupid and just a pathetic waste of a human being. And yet, on the other hand, somehow there's a third hand. Well, I'm hoping that anyone that comes across the video more than likely will just not even listen to the long-ass fucking video. And they'll just click on the links below to listen to the beginning of it where I say, hey, go see a doctor. And they'll do that. But beyond that, it's very rare for people to actually have a mental breakdown recorded in audio. So maybe the people in the FBI would actually hey, here's something for you guys to study and write a fucking thesis on that, I'll never hear about. Because at the very least, it's not illegal to be sad and depressed. It's just kind of pathetic. Here I am trying to inspire you guys to go get help, and I'm just bashing on myself. But honestly, that's nothing compared to how far back. The more I talk about this, I realize that I'm stalling at this point because I don't want to record the video. Thought I already resolved this issue with myself. Because like I said, I don't have all day pretty much. It's going to be a long-ass fucking video. It's going to be recording most of the entire time I have off from work from the day. And then I might barely have enough time to upload it before I have to go back to work. I am really fighting myself. All I gotta do, like, I already have the thing picked up for the folder. All I gotta do is push play. I actually, like, right while I was starting my car up to leave work, I popped my phone for a second since I had to wait for some cars to get by. Since I was still in the parking lot parked and everything. And there was this one person I'd commented on one of their posts on their channel. And I suggested, hey, you should watch my Super Meat Boy playthrough. Just don't look at the rest of my channel. The rest of my channel's cursed. So, like, on the one hand, the video would help some people. Because if there's some people out there like, oh, they won't go get help, maybe listening to me actually, you know, I can still just delete this video. Hell, I could delete the video of the mental breakdown off my computer. No one has to fucking hear it. I mean, it's not like I ever planned to fucking monetize my channel anyway. This channel's just a hobby I do. That I'm going to be basically making random Let's Play videos for the next couple decades, or at least until YouTube stops existing. Or World War III or something. And hell, you got the stuff with the Ukraine-Russia stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I keep hearing conflicting information on that, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. Hell, I have a friend who's actually higher up in the military. I'll probably just try to message him and like, hey, can you let me know what's actually fucking happening? Because I'm like, what the fuck, man? Plus, I need to check on him. I want to make sure he's doing okay. I'm an antisocial person, but I at least try to be, and I appreciate all the times I've seen my friends. But like I said, it's just, because one, the video is so far beyond being cringy, and even then I'll record a second part after this for the rest of the video, because initially I did try to upload it, and YouTube's like, yeah, you can't upload something over 12 hours. I'm like, oh, and I can't just split the video, so I have to like fully re-record it. So I have OBS set with a picture of, well, it's an anime girl spaceship thing. Yeah. And yeah. And like I said, the original time I recorded this was the image I used in the Terrible Karaoke Guess the Anime Character 7. Which is basically just, it's a young boy sitting down, which basically looks like me. It's and personality, everything. It's like, hey, it's me in anime form. That's basically what that guy is. And now I've like, since I'll be restarting that video for this, apparently I'm also a fucking giant spaceship person. It's just weird. But yeah, like I said, at the very least, it's not illegal for me to cry and be sad. There also may be sections of the video that may have to be fully muted because YouTube... Because I know there are a couple times I try to record certain things from Black Sabbath or Ozzy for karaoke, and sometimes the YouTube algorithm would not only say that it's not, that it's restricted, it'll wind up say, hey, video can't be posted at all unless you mute certain sections. or even delete certain sections. So that means there could be times where all of a sudden the audio will jump. And another thing I'll probably do is this. When I record part 2 of this, I'll probably just turn on the PS4 of my TV and replay this beginning section of this for that video. I'm not sure. It means I would then have the real me sitting here talking in present time, while then the me that's now talking on my TV, and then of course the me from Saturday on the video on my computer. Even then, that's going on, 21 minutes? Apparently, I just ramble and shit. But yeah. Main thing I can say is this. I've never hurt anybody. I'm not going to hurt myself. I am going to start seeing a therapist, getting some x-rays later. I think it's normal that I'm a little bit emotionally upset about, having a major surgery where I'm going to have my taint sliced open to where the handle of the knife will basically brush on my ball sack, and I'd be out for like 3.5 to 4 hours, and they're going to pull some of my insides out, cut my insides up, stitch them back together, shove them back up my body, stitch up my taint, and then shove a catheter up my dick, and then I'll basically take 6 weeks to recover, first 2 weeks of which I'll have to keep a catheter up there the whole fucking time, and then have to slowly pull it out. Plus, you're just concerns about my job, certain chemical interactions in my body, hormone level, issues of trauma and shit, and personal concerns, and just stress and shit. Granted, I know there's people that have shit things much worse, but I'm just saying, I'm in a position to actually record. And like I said, for most part, this is mainly a Let's Play channel with comedy, but sometimes there's going to be videos like this, which will just be... I am apparently the most cursed area of the internet. Like, I am apparently now that dark corner of the internet that everyone is going to dread ever being at, if they ever come across it. But yeah, I would never ever hurt myself, I'm just saying. Not sure if natural causes might be an issue or not at some point, just because, like I said, my family has had issues with strokes and aneurysms and stuff. I tend to be tired a lot, but then again, that's just also the terrible insomnia. By the way, I'll probably will wind up taking testosterone replacement therapy and get some steroids. It's illegal because, it's from a doctor. And maybe take some Ambien, to actually... Because that might be another reason why my testosterone is just plummeting. Is just, apparently you need to sleep more than an hour a day or some shit. While still doing a full-time plus overtime physical manual labor job. I don't know. I'm still trying to stall. Because part of me is like, I don't want to re-record this because, one, who would actually want to actually listen to the sound of somebody having a mental breakdown? Like, is that really going to help anybody? Like, are they supposed to be so moved emotionally themselves by your honesty and courage and posting you whining like a baby that they go seek medical professional help themselves? Because like I said, I'm seeing a doctor. I'm going to start seeing a therapist. Got some blood taken yesterday. Having, of course, a surgery because I have to, because it's required. Because if I don't get the surgery, my internal organs will explode and I will die. Mainly because mostly people tend to not survive exploding internal organs. You know, just saying. That's usually not something you just walk off. I'm torn between feeling just sad about the shit I'm talking about and just stalling. Because I'm like, Then, of course, maybe it could be used for scientific purposes. People could just listen to a person emotionally being a bitch and use it for future textbooks or some shit. I don't fucking know. Seriously, what's the point of fucking posts this? Then again, what's the point of me even having a channel to begin with? What's the point of me talking to anybody? What's the point of me even trying to share those kinds of thoughts? You know, you're an adult. You know, a real man wouldn't be fucking crying and upset and complaining about the stuff you do, let alone the way you do in the video. A real adult wouldn't be that upset. A good person wouldn't be like that. Then again, I've made it clear in my fucking about me on my page that I'm a fucking monster and I'm not a good person. You know, I'm a very awkward person. Even I can be very good at just being nice, friendly. But then again, I like being nice and friendly to people. It's just a lot of times I'm just sad and I'm just like, you know, let's just hide that. Because a lot of people, you know, I wouldn't really want to trust them with that side of me. And like I said, I kind of feel like that everything that I would be playing in the video of me, even the part that's just me singing karaoke badly and just trying to be lighthearted and goofy, even that part makes me look bad. Let alone the full-on screaming and crying and all of that. And now I'm like, if you post the video or even record it in the first place, you're a dumbass. If you don't post it, well then you're just a cowardly pussy that isn't willing to share this information that might somehow push somebody out there who's dealing with depression to go get actual fucking help. So now, because you don't post the video, it's your fault someone out there doesn't get help. Other people out there are like, Lunar D8, that sounds kind of fucking arrogant. And I'm like, yes, it is. It is. It's very self-centered of me to say that. But then again, I'm a very self-centered asshole person. Debating on just stopping this video, deleting this video, and deleting the video that I'd be re-recording. Like, I don't even know what the purpose of posting this video is anymore. Like, what's even the point? Why would I do this? Then again, why would I bother doing Let's Plays in the first place? Like, I know I enjoyed the Let's Play community, particularly stuff like, you know, Ultra J-Man, Markiplier, and I just enjoyed watching the videos. It's not like I ever plan to make money off of it. I could have 1 million fucking subscribers. I don't ever plan to partner with YouTube. Hell, if I ever got to the point on Twitch to where I'd have enough people where Twitch wanted to partner with me, I'd probably just stop broadcasting. Not that I do that very often anyway. It's more so a YouTube thing. It's just I don't want to make money ever. I don't want people to ever... Because it's not an issue of like, oh, you guys don't have to sub or anything. No, I want to make sure, like, it's in a situation where you guys don't even have the option to sub or donate. That it's never even an option. Just, I like ranting at my computer. Because if I wasn't ranting at my computer, I'd be walking around my house ranting to myself, or playing my guitar while ranting myself, or drawing, or playing a video game by myself, or lifting weights and barbells and dumbbells and shit. And at least I have some gym equipment at my house. But like, say if there's a gym I'll go to here in town, if there's no one around, because usually I'll go there on the weekends in the middle of the night when no one else is there. So then I can talk to myself there. But if I see somebody else there, I'll be quiet, because I can at least control that aspect of myself in front of people, because I understand how weird and sad and unsocially acceptable that would be. And I would like to be socially acceptable. I would like to be able to, be around friends and people, and I try to make the people I'm around comfortable because I enjoy their company. And it is somewhat understandable to... a lot of it's really just thinking out loud. It's just that I do it a lot more than your average person. Yes, I'm scratching my balls. Like I said, once I start this up, if I do, I'm going to be doing things like taking a shower, maybe doing laundry, brush my teeth, clean my face, eat some breakfast, maybe run some errands, go to the hospital, take care of those x-rays, maybe go on my computer stuff on my phone and look up any test results of the blood work I had done. Because like I said, they took a fucking ton of blood out of me. But hey, it just means they did a lot of tests. Is it bad I can't remember offhand what my fucking blood type is? At this point, it's like I said, most of my channel is just fucking cringe. And at this point, I'm posting a video that this is basically going to be the most fucking video on the internet. All I gotta do is pull up that little folder down below, push start, and it's going to be the most cursed fucking video on the internet. Like I said, at the very least, it's not like FBI would probably have an issue with me for it. It's not like the worst thing I say is that I'm very sad. And then I cry to the point of vomiting. And I scream myself unconscious. So, aside from everybody in the FBI office laughing at me and making fun of me for being such a pathetic crybaby and a pussy-ass bitch, it's not like I've actually ever done anything illegal. Hell, offhand, I don't think I've ever actually broken any laws. There was one time, I drove with my tags expired by a couple days, but that's because my very first year driving, I thought when you got your tags, I thought they were good for 2 years. And it was just a couple days after my birthday, and then I wound up getting pulled over and got a ticket for that. Aside from that, I got tickets for other things, namely, there was one time I got hit by a full-size pickup truck going 75 miles an hour right at my driver's side. Thankfully, I was the only person in the car. I couldn't move my fucking left arm hardly for a couple months. I had a dozen or so staples across my head. That fucking hurt. I had purplish black basketball looking bruises all up and down my legs, bruised all my fucking ribs. I had glass in my eyes. It was very uncomfortable. I remember seeing my car at the junkyard. I was looking at my fucking airbag and I'm like, why the fuck? What dumbass designs a fucking red and white airbag? Why would you design it? What are you trying to design it for? Who's looking at an airbag? And then I'm thinking to myself, that's my fucking blood. That's not a design. It's not like they, ooh, let's make a pretty airbag. No, all the red all over the airbag is my fucking blood. They didn't design it that way. But of course, I got a ticket for $200. It was for failure to yield. Even though The way that intersection is known for having tons of car accidents to the point that the person who lives there at that area actually has their fencing and all that stuff insured. And they actually have at least 4 car accidents in that area every year to the point that just with their insurance money they get from the car accidents that happen there, they're able to go to Las Vegas every single year because of the insurance from people like me getting in a car wreck there, just because it's a very unsafe intersection. That and the person who hit me was speeding. And the person who hit me even said, yeah, I saw him come to a full stop, but then he pulled out because I couldn't fucking see him. Heck, even the person who lives there was like, yeah, I saw him come to a full stop. I came to a full stop at the stop sign. I didn't see anybody. I even double checked. And then I pulled out. Boom. I'm like, ow. That kind of hurt. Funny thing is, like, when the paramedic showed up, I was like, yeah, it's cool, guys. I got this. I can't open my door. After they pry my door open, I'm like, okay, I got this. I don't need help. I'm like, and I can't stand up. Fuck. Funny thing is this. There was a really cute girl in the squad car, and I asked her how her day was going. She's like, better than yours. I'm like, ah. I was like, come on. That's in poor taste. Then, of course, there's one time where I was like working a job. It's that job where I was breathing powdered metal and powdered paint. And I was like working like 11, 12-hour shifts all the time. I was so fucking exhausted. Actually, I think I slept okay most of my life, really, up till that point. It's just with that job, plus I had some personal things going on at that time. That's around the time that I started having the really bad insomnia. Because the funny thing is, I'd even listened to creepypasta, all that stuff in the past. That's been like my whole fucking life. I've had an interest in that stuff since I was even a small child. And I've slept fine. It's just when I started working that job where I was working that powder coat paint with all that stuff, it was just, because I was constantly vomiting in my own mouth while I worked and having to re-swallow my vomit. That's why I lost a few of my teeth in the back of my mouth, and I'll probably have to go to the dentist at some point and get a few more teeth cut out of the back of my mouth just because stomach acid kind of burns enamel. But it's just, that place is just, eventually I quit that job because I was puking every single day. I was always sick. And even though the job I do right now is physically exertive, it's nowhere near as much just wear and tear as what that place was doing to me. It's just, that place was killing me. And eventually it's just like, not only was I so stressed and in so much pain all the time, but I was sick all the time. And I think that's actually when my insomnia issues started, is just the nature of that job. Plus, I had personal issues. Simply, I had an intimate partner around that time that was wound up becoming psychotic, and there's lots of issues with that. Basically, lots of gradual changes occurred with that, but the main thing is I wasn't able to sleep. So, I think that's usually when, and of course right now I work third shift, so it's just, you're not really meant to be awake for third shift times, really. And a lot of times with my job, I'll tend to drink too much soda pop or eat some extra candy bars to help make sure I have enough energy to keep moving at the pace they want me to move. To just ignore, okay, my knees hurt, my back hurts, I'm pissed off, I want to cuss at people, I want to feel pissed. Instead, I'll just like, okay, let's just drink an extra soda, some extra caffeine, sugar, candy bar, keep myself calm with that. That way I can just keep doing the job as fast as possible, but also, do a good job, be nice and polite to people, because, most people, they're just irritated with the job too. And, they're people with thoughts and feelings. I should respect them. It's just, a lot of times I just feel very frustrated. And it's just, I'm like, I'm still trying to stall because I don't want to post this And like people at home, like, you don't have to. I'm like, I know, but it's just I feel like I should. Because after all, the whole point of the channel is me not having a filter, me being honest about just whatever the fucking pops ahead in my mind. But like I said, I am fine. I've never hurt anybody. I've never actually attempted to harm myself. You know, the main reason I've thought about that stuff, and I've thought about that stuff since like my earliest memories, but that's just because other reasons. You know, other things occurred in younger years as well as throughout school, because I was basically that person who got bullied like a lot. The funny thing is this, when that whole Columbine bullshit happened, which that's horrible, people started leaving me alone a bit. Because they actually got scared I was going to do that shit. I'm like, I would never. It's just, I would never want to hurt anyone. At the same time, it was nice to just not be getting treated badly. But yeah, I just couldn't imagine like how a lot of the people are about things. Like, and of course, you know, people got perhaps more mature as they got older or got busy with, you know, their own career paths that they were trying to pursue in lives. Then there's just issues of just lots of rejections with women. Lots of just other people in real life have said very negative things to me. And somehow it's become ingrained in my mind so that I just sort of keep regurgitating it back to myself. And I understand part of it's like, okay, I'm trying not to be arrogant or anything, because I mean, but you have to believe in yourself somewhat. Otherwise, how do you get out of bed in the morning? So, I don't really know where I'm going with any of this. I think the main thing is that one, I feel like that, well, then again, it's not like anybody out there would actually like me or respect me to begin with. But yeah, part of me is like, well, if I post this, anyone that hears it, you know, they would lose all respect for me. They would hate me. They would consider me a bad person. But then again, I mean, there's no reason for anyone out there to like me. There's no reason for anyone out there to respect me in the first place. And honestly, I mean, I am a bad person. I mean, I haven't done anything special. I don't really help anyone. I'm not a success at anything. I'm not entirely straight. You might say that last one's not so bad. Like, I've had disagreements with some preachers and stuff. Basically, some that feel being gay is worse than committing murder. So, perhaps a little bit self-conscious on that myself. That, and I also would expect certain people in the real physical world where I live to actually attempt to murder me if I were to discuss it with them. Yes, to some degree, paranoia. On the other hand, individuals in question have given me reasons to expect violent retaliation of me even saying I would be bisexual. Which, even then, that's not really entirely true because, you know, most men I have no attraction to whatsoever. A lot of it might just be that I'm just this very sad, lonely person. And I'm just desperate for somebody to care about me at that point. So it's like maybe my mind's just expanded on it. I don't fucking know. And see, like we're at 45 minutes. I'm just rambling on. And at this point, I'm not even going to have enough room on the video to record anything off the fucking other video. Like, I don't know where we're going with this. Apparently, I can't do a short intro. This is supposed to be just, like, what? 2 minutes at most? But like, hi, I guess I'll record it anyway because it'll help people. If you're sad, there's links below of people that could actually help you. By the way, if you're watching this, you have agreed to a promise that you have made to me, that you will go get help yourself. That's the main thing I'm trying to say. Is if you're watching this, hell, if you've actually stayed around to listen to this for this long, you're either really sad and bored, or you're an FBI person trying to decide if I'm somehow kind of a threat to anyone. If you're the first group, you're still sad and bored. If you're an FBI person, you're also sad and bored now, because I've depressed you. I'm sorry. I'm not exciting. You guys are like, we have actual criminals we could be listening to right now. Instead, we're listening to just a sad, pathetic, pretty much old man at this point. In my fucking 30s now. Feel like I'm too old for relationships anymore, too. I'm like, not that I didn't try to date more when I was younger, it's just lots and lots of rejection. The people I did get with, it didn't really last. I'm like, oh. And I mean, I really can't complain about life in general. I mean, I at least, have good enough health. I mean, there's a few issues that my body has that perhaps causes me a little bit of pain or inconvenience. But really, I mean, it's nothing compared to what other people go through. And I mean, I live in a pretty safe part of the world. And even though I don't really care for my job, it pays okay. And, I'm able to have a place to live. I'm able to pay for internet. I'm able to get food. I'm able to have medical insurance so that I can see a therapist. Though I had been putting it off because I was kind of concerned it might be too expensive. But I think I can, plus a lot of the medical stuff I think has gotten better recently. Maybe some political changes or policy changes or something. So it looks like it should actually be affordable now for me to go see a therapist. So, but main thing I can say is this. I've never hurt anybody. I've never broken any laws. I've never really gone anywhere outside the United States. I went to New Mexico once back in 2004. I went to Washington, D.C. for a school trip. I was in Canada for a couple days for a Boy Scout thing. I was like, what? 12? I think I was like 12 fucking years old back then or some shit. But yeah, last I checked, it's not illegal to be socially awkward or sad or paranoid. Then again, with the way this video is going to be, if I do press play, I'm going to make Alex Jones seem calm and collected. I am really struggling with whether or not because initially I was like, okay, I might post it. Then I was like, no, and then maybe, and I was off the fence. Then, like I said, the video I posted before this one was literally me saying, hell no. I've listened to some of it, it's worse than I even remember. It's like, there's no way I could possibly post this. And I was like, yeah, there's no way I could share this. Because it's so fucking bad. It's so far beyond the line of cringe that it's just straight up cursed. Like, I feel like this is the sort of thing that the creepypasta narrators, like Mr. Creepypasta and Dark Somnian, I feel like those guys are going to listen to this and they're going to be scared to go outside at dark. Like the fucking narrators, the fucking people that made Five Nights at Freddy's or SCP Containment Breach. They're going to listen to this and they're going to be like, oh God, apparently we don't know the idea of what scary is. Because this Lunar DA guy is not even trying to be scary. He's just being himself, and he's just that fucking weird and sad that it's just pathetic and terrifying. I don't know, FBI, if you are listening to this, donate money to places that help people with mental health issues. Or to a place that, like a children's hospital. Because that's a good cause too. Or cancer research. Let's go with the main thing that's actually pertinent to what I was talking about, mental health. I'm just saying I feel like that's kind of downplayed a lot in society. Like, I feel there's a lot of people that wind up not having any help. Like, I'm at least lucky. I can actually see a doctor. And I'll say this. I'll probably wind up taking, like, the steroids and the Ambien. And maybe that'll naturally fix, and talk to a therapist. And maybe, get a girlfriend or something. I haven't dated anyone since my divorce. So maybe I should do something about that, though. I don't know how I would explain that. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a few weeks where I can't see you because I'm going to have a tube up my dick. Like, I don't know how you would explain that to somebody. Like, maybe I should just avoid dating entirely until after that. Because I'm not sure how you would wind up explaining that to somebody. Like, oh, my internal organs, issue, and there's going to be a few weeks that I won't be able to see you because I'll have a tube up my penis. And I'll be laying in my bed. Probably still trying to do Let's Plays. But I'll probably be a very cranky asshole bastard. Even though I assume I'll be on some kind of pain medication. Not just for the tube up my penis. But again, the fact that they're going to be slicing my taint open. Pulling my insides out of me. Taking a knife to my insides while they're outside my body. Cutting up my insides. Stitching my insides back together. Then shoving my insides back up me. And then stitching my taint closed. And then, shoving a tube up my dick. Plus, my bedroom, like, my living room's downstairs, my bedroom's upstairs. I'm going to have to try to go up a fucking staircase with a tube up my penis and having just had my bottom seam of my body sliced open. Like, part of me would be concerned that if I were to all of a sudden try to take 2 steps at once, that maybe I'd split open, my intestines would pour out. Yes, maybe I'm over dramatizing this, but this is how I feel about it. Like, this is, granted, there's other people that have had much worse, like fucking open heart surgeries and shit. I'm just saying, I don't feel comfortable with having any of that happen to me. Granted, it's necessary, because eventually, if I don't, my bladder and perhaps other parts of my lower abdominal will then explode inside me, which, like I said, you can't just walk that off. Yeah, that's not something you really just walk off. So, really fighting myself on whether or not to post this And even if I've never recorded, I can still just delete everything. So I guess main things would be this. 1, physical discomfort in my body from my job being too strenuous. Stress about bills, stress about money, stress about medical stuff, stress about my own health, stress about how my body feels, as well as, like I was telling the doctor, I think one of the main reasons why I am emotionally having the issues I am is because my testosterone level is just fucking plummeting. Which also may be due to the insomnia, might be due to the chemicals and stuff I've been exposed to. Actually appears to be mainly just an issue of stress and genetics. And again, the thing with the issue that needs the surgery is they're like, yeah, it's either just genetics or you got hurt as a child. It's okay. So either way, I rolled pretty badly in that fucking lotto. The genetic roulette did not work out in my favor. Or just chance and circumstance that somehow I became injured in a very specific way as a very young person. Who knows? Maybe I fell on a fucking tricycle or some shit when I was small or something. So, I guess fuck tricycles? No. I don't know. But yeah, like, they look at the stuff with the cameras and as far as that diet stuff, and like, yeah, that scar tissue and the stuff that's happened there, like, that's been there for years. It's just over time it builds up and starts becoming an issue. That's why you're noticing certain effects on your internal organs. I'm like, so, but it, like, they're like, yeah, it's been there for years and years. Could have very well happened a decade ago, 2 decades ago. Could even happen when you were a small child. Like, it's just great. It's been a fucking hour. I expect no one will actually watch this video at all. There will probably only be like 5 people total who ever even come across my channel. I'm pretty sure, like, it says 40 subscribers right now. I have had a couple people comment on some videos, but I'm pretty sure there's only 5 real people, 35 of which are just bots. If I ever get a 41st person, it'll just be the FBI keeping tabs on me. Which, all I can say is this. Feel free to comment. I mean, if you suggest a game to Let's Play, I'll try it, FBI. Is there a game you want to see me play? Granted, if my computer can't handle it, I won't play it. Because you guys are probably already watching. Heck, you guys are probably watching this somehow before it's even uploaded. I don't know. Just saying, you guys saw what happened in the Spyro video. In the Crash Bandicoot video, my computer couldn't run it at all. So, it's funny. It's February 22nd, 2022. I am literally the most cursed fucking channel on the internet. It's one thing I'm basically making videos that are so fucking cringe. Now I'm just like, cringe doesn't even cover it anymore. It's just fucking cursed. But like I said, at the very least, it's not illegal for me to be sad or weird or just post a video of me screaming and crying to the point of vomiting. That's not illegal. It's sad and pathetic, but it's not illegal. But yeah, I don't know, maybe at some point I should go to like Ireland or something. Though, not sure what most countries really think about Americans. Let alone me. I'm just like, I feel like if anyone, even my own fellow Americans, knew me like to the degree that right now, they're like, "Yeah, I don't want anything to do with Lunar D8. He's too weird." I mean, I can't really blame them. I am, but at least I'm not dangerous to anybody. I'm just a very sad, silly person. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot with a box. A box that lets me play video games and record it and be weird. I am still fighting myself so fucking hard as to whether or not to record that video or not. And I was, like I said, it was supposed to be just a 2-minute intro. It was supposed to be 2 minutes. And then I'd push play and then try to get some sleep, go do the x-rays and stuff. I'm scratching my scalp. Well, if I'm going to record it, I'm going to push play now. This is such a fucking argument with myself. I'm just going to stand up, walk over here. I was already planning to basically be in the shower and everything by now. Checking the YouTube on my phone right now. See if there's anything interesting that I want to watch later. I don't know. Like I said, at the very least, it's not illegal for me to post a video of me being weird. You know, like part of me's like now, like, oh, you're just a fucking coward if you don't post it now. I'm like, like it's like I said, there are some videos like the reading skill video, professional reading skill in the Super Meat Boy playlist that I did do a little a laugh cry stuff, but that was like nothing compared to what I did in this video. It's absolutely nothing compared to what I did in the video, to what I did in this 13-hour stream. And I'm just gonna sit here and take my shoes off. Because I know in the last video I did, I was like, I wound up saying, oh, okay. I entitled the video saying, okay, like I am never posting this fucking video because it's just too fucking bad. Like, heck, I'm even considering like this video should just not go up either. It's just I am very much on the fence about whether or not I should post it. Because, I mean, hell, in general, the internet's not a very nice place. I mean, people aren't very nice. I mean, I've had first-hand experiences of people not being very nice or caring or accepting. Like, oh yeah, you could post this and maybe it'll help 5 people to go seek, professional help. Because like I said, at the very least, one, I have to have the damn surgery or I'll die. And like I said, fucking genetics hate me, apparently. Good thing I never fucking smoke in my life. It's just, I mean, it's one thing that I've posted cringy videos. That's fine. But it's just, that 13-hour stream, the 13-hour stream, and I keep calling it a stream even though I wasn't broadcasting it, I was just recording on OBS. I just felt like calling it a stream. Because I basically treated it like it was one. And like I said, now I feel like, okay, I'm not going to record the rest of that video. I'm being a coward. Because I'm not posting it. And like I said, I still might go through the video. Like, here's the thing. If you watch this, I still want you to go seek professional help. I mean, especially if you're depressed or sad or anything. I still want you to go get professional help. I still want you to go see your family doctor and talk to them about it. I still want you to see a therapist if you can. I understand there are some places that either don't have it available or some people that just have no financial means for that. At which point, you know what, FBI, if you're listening to this, help people who can't afford therapy. Go get a therapist, okay? That way, if somebody is feeling emotionally down, they have access to somebody to help them. Because, I mean, at least I'm going to have access to somebody to help me. I'm going to go get some x-rays later. Eventually get a CAT scan, MRI, all that stuff. Just, can't do everything in one day. And start talking to a therapist. Depending on how things with the blood work and everything look, might start taking steroids and Ambien via doctor's prescription. Though I would wind up going with the patch version of the TRT therapy. Because I hate needles. I don't like needles. Hell, the whole time I have the fucking IV in my hand or my arm, particularly in the hand, how uncomfortable it is. Like, I have that the idea, like, you have a very dull box cutter just ripping through a piece of cardboard where it's just, like, ripping in the most unclean, jagged way. The whole time I'm just imagining my arm doing that. I'm going to be imagining the same thing when I got a damn catheter up my dick. Like, I'm just going to imagine it's going to explode like a fucking banana. That's a horrifying thing to fucking imagine. And now you're all thinking about it too. You're welcome. I just made everybody in the FBI headquarters just like close their legs in painful, groaning thoughts. But that's kind of it just pops in my head. I'm like, It's just, I'm worried about the surgery, okay? Yes, I'm sad and depressed, but yes, I don't want to die, and I do my best to take care of myself. Granted, I do eat a bit of junk food, but, that stuff makes me happy, and, well, a lot of times I needed to keep my energy levels up and to do my job or to stay calm. The way I look at it, it's better to eat a candy bar than to cuss somebody out. And same way, like, I'll feel very insecure about, like, okay, my arms are too skinny, I'm not very strong, I can't seem to build any muscle. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I'll also look at some videos of the people, like, tearing their biceps, lifting too heavy of a weight. And it's just a little, or a gym fail, it's like a reminder, hey, yes, you're insecure about how your body is, you don't feel that you look as strong or as manly as you're supposed to. But you also don't need to accidentally hurt yourself. And even then, I mean, how many people out there actually do eat completely healthy? I mean, I can't really judge myself for enjoying Pizza Hut and KFC. It's not like I show up to KFC and they're like, "Oh, it's you, Lunar. Good thing you're here because you're the only person in the world that eats fried chicken." I'm pretty sure that there is at least 2 people other than me that like fried chicken. Yes, I am both being sarcastic and under-exaggerating it. It's just, it's kind of what America's known for over here. And even though I judge myself thinking that I'm very fat just because of the way my gut is on certain things, I mean, when I look at a lot of people around me, I'm like, there's a lot of people twice my size that are not muscular. At the same time, like, I'm very judgmental of myself because I'm like, I feel that I'm fat and I'm too short. My dick's too small. My arms are too skinny. The little bit of fat I have, and the tiny bit of pectoral muscle I have, I think it makes me look like I have boobs. My face is ugly. I'm not skilled at anything. Whether it be my guitar, or drawing, or fighting, or sports, or riding a bicycle. And even then, like, okay, it's not like I really have any real skills in terms of making money. I can work industrial things or a fucking office job or some shit. It's like, there's not really anything special about me. I'm just a weird person who enjoys anime. I am a big fucking nerd. I am a weeb. I am a person who tries very hard to ask women out and flirt with them and has like a 99.99% failure rate. Like, I've just gotten used to the idea that anyone I might be attracted to, I probably shouldn't even bother talking to, because there's no way they could even find me even remotely attractive. There's like 0% chance that they would even like me at all, let alone actually hit it off with me if we dated. Plus, there's still a concern that, if I did date people, that I'd have a similar issue to what happened. Because like I said, I am still thankful for every relationship I was ever in, but, every relationship I was ever in ended with me being dumped or cheated on. And the person I married wound up being a psychotic, abusive person. Granted, the reason I married that person was because I loved them, because, that's not the kind of person I thought they were. And I mean, at least my son's in a safe place. He's good where he's at. And he's away from her. I still get to see him and talk to him. I just feel sad about that because, one, I tried to keep my family from falling apart, but again, nothing I did wrong, nothing I could do anything about. And honestly, if I had been given the choice for him to just live with me, I would have taken it. But honestly, I'm glad I didn't have the choice, because he's better off where he is than living with me. simply because how good of a father could I really be if I'm just living here by myself, working third shift, working tons of overtime? I mean, I'd have to probably have him with a babysitter a lot, or switch. Actually, I would have just switched to first shift, but even then, I mean, granted, he'd be at school most of the time then. But I'm just saying, I would have done it if I had the choice. But I'm glad I didn't have the choice. Because if I had had the choice, I would have taken it. And it wouldn't have been best for him, would it? He's happy where he is. He's safe where he is. The people raising him love him very much. They take great care of him. They help him study. They play with him. He's safe where he is. And that's what matters most. From the time before he was even born, I just wanted to be the best possible father I could be to him. I just wanted him to grow up knowing that, that I love him. I'm proud of him. I want him to know that no matter what, I'd always be his dad and always care about him. At the same time, I kind of judge myself as being a failure just because I couldn't keep my family together. But even then, that's, I can't really blame myself for other people's actions. I did my best to try to fix problems somebody else made, and to be understanding, and most of all, just try to... And now I'm becoming a whole different type of fucking cursed. I'm avoiding uploading the video where I got upset and sad about life in general. And it's going to slowly become a video I shouldn't even be posting again anyway. I am really fucking fighting myself on whether or not to post this video, let alone record the actual video that I was thinking of letting post. And like I said, I was going to... It's just... And I'll say this, in future relationships, I mean, one, I'm worried I'd wind up with somebody else that'd be abusive to me. So on the one hand, not only am I scared of rejection and the regard that, no one would even like me in the first place, but I'm also scared that if someone did like me, that, well, what if they wind up trying to hurt me? And not just, dumping me or cheating on me or disrespecting me. I mean, like, literally, what if they wind up trying to, kill me or something? Or come at me with a knife or some shit. I actually still have a 3-inch long scar on my right arm from my last Christmas being married. I wore long sleeves for about 3 months to hide that. My ex was upset that our son was playing with some of his toys, so she started breaking his toys. I told her to stop, and then she attacked me. She was just screaming and cussing and breaking his toys. I tell her to stop. One, because that's fucked up, and two, he doesn't need to see that either. And then I'm bleeding. So, And here's the thing, if I see a therapist, like, should I even mention that to the therapist? Because, I mean, I just don't want anything to do with my ex in any way. I've kept a couple of the romantic things I had bought her back when I was married to her, just as like an example to myself, proof to myself to be like, hey, it wasn't your fault. You did everything right that you could. Except maybe pick a better person who wouldn't act like that. But the thing is this, when I married the person, I really didn't think they would. And by that point, I'm like, well, I have a family to think about. I was, and how things can be sometimes, the legal system. I was worried that if things fall apart, like I obviously feel very uncomfortable in posting the recording from the 13-hour stream. I might look up clips of it, like browse through it, see if there's things that I feel are acceptable to share. No matter what, I'll keep the footage of the 13-hour stream on my computer. Just, again, for like self-reflection. But it's just... I could just start the video now, right?
Hey, look, it's me, an anime form. I just got done eating a...
No. Because on the one hand, I'm like, okay, am I just a fucking coward for not posting the video? I mean, what if it helps somebody? Like, how would it fucking help anyone, huh? How the fuck would listening to a fucking sound clip of you cry to the point that you start vomiting, violently vomiting at that, and then laughing hysterically to the point that fucking, if Jared Leto, Heath Ledger, Mark Hamill, and Jack Nicholson were all in the room with you, they'd get like, yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. Because they got nothing on me in terms of what my fucking maniacal laugh is. And like I said, I got some other videos where I did a little bit of laughing. It's fucking nothing compared to what I did in that 13-hour video. It's nothing. It's not even it's like comparing a droplet of water to a fucking ocean in terms of just how fucking fucked up it is. I don't feel comfortable sharing what... Because like I said, initially that video was supposed to be me just being a bit goofy and lighthearted, singing some terrible karaoke for like 20 minutes. Hell, this video was supposed to be 2 minutes of an intro talking about, hey, I decided to upload that video after all. And then, pushing play and then just going about my day to do stuff like showering and going to do that x-ray and stuff. And instead I've just... Then again, that might be another thing. A lot of this is me just needing somebody to talk to. And me just pushing play isn't me talking, it's me just pushing the play button and walking away. Like I said, I do talk to myself, but, I do that when I'm by myself. When around others, I don't. It's just that I've spent a lot of time in isolation, in self-withdrawal, emotional, social withdrawal, to the point that I'm just so unused to the idea of really being around other people anymore. And I'm so used to the idea that anytime, if like, say if I see a pretty girl, like I see a very sexy woman, heck, even if I see somebody that I would deem average that I still would like, that if I see somebody I like, I'm like, well, why should I even talk to them? They wouldn't want to talk to me. It's like there's nothing I could possibly say that would make them even want to give me the fucking time of day, let alone actually have a meaningful emotional connection with me. To actually be somebody that I could trust, who could trust me or anything. Granted, and it's not like being a nerd or a weeb really hurts my chances. I mean, honestly, a lot of times I go more into the anime or nerd or hentai stuff because, well, great, I would still like anime even if I had lots of relationship prospects or had easy access to somebody who would actually, give me emotional validation or had somebody I truly could love and trust who was loyal to me. Loyal in regard that they would never try to fucking murder me or be abusive or cheat on me or just treat me like terrible shit. Like I said, between a lot of rejection and just a lot of situations where, a lot of people just in real life have just been very hurtful to my feelings. Plus, there's the fact there's a lot of times that even when I wanted to hang out with friends, they were busy with other things, which I understand. People have lives. It's just a lot of times, I was looking forward to seeing them. Or a lot of times it just, like take my job. One thing that's actually influenced me back and forth in my job is there's sometimes I'm doing my job and sometimes I'm feeling irritated about how much my body physically hurts at my job. And a part of me is like, hey, maybe if you post that video with the fucking mental breakdown, maybe you'll feel better physically or emotionally. Same way, like sometimes if you're dealing with other people that are just either being too demanding or rude or just very uncooperative or hostile, it's just even if it's just playing a video, even from that 13-hour stream, it's just that, there's somebody out there that knows how I feel. And I think that's what that is. It's just, in general, I just like making Let's Plays because I enjoy watching them. I want to be part of the Let's Play community. I don't want to make money at it. I don't want to make it a damn business. There's so many YouTubers out there who are so stressed and worried all the time because they're like, oh no, I don't want my video to get demonetized because I need the ad revenue to pay my rent. Or they're like, oh no, if I don't get this sponsorship from Raid Shadow Legends, I don't get to eat. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel like I have to sell myself to everyone out there to just get by and make ends meet. Which, again, I'm not judging anyone for doing it. I think it's amazing that you guys can make money off of it. But I don't want to, even if I had the opportunity, which honestly, I'd have to be popular for anyone to actually watch enough videos to make an income off of it. But let's be clear. I could have 1 million fucking subscribers on my YouTube channel. I don't intend to partner with YouTube. I mainly make these videos because, 1, I like playing video games. 2, I want to be a part of the YouTube community. I want to be able to be on YouTube. And of course, yes, it'd be nice to get some likes on videos. It'd be nice to, I gained a couple subscribers. And they're actual human beings and not just a random bot. Or like the FBI, I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, FBI, you're welcome to watch my videos too. It's just, You gotta comment and say nice things. Okay? So that's the thing. FBI, if you do comment, you have to say nice things. But yeah, that's my condition. You're allowed to comment, FBI. But you have to say nice things to me, okay? You have to be nice. But it's just... not sure where I'm going with this anymore. I think I've given up the idea of just posting the 13-hour video. I'm going to keep it on my computer just for, for self-reflection. And maybe one day I'll change my mind about posting it. But right now well, aside from thinking about how much I really want to brush my teeth and take a shower right now, I just feel so uncomfortable with it. And it's just... I'll probably post a video right after this where I'll try to post a couple tiny clips of acceptable things out of the 13-hour stream. Things like just if I sang a song okay, which won't be very many of them because I'm terrible at singing. But I mean, let's be clear, the 13-hour video it's me singing a couple hundred songs, very bad karaoke. It's me crying hysterically, the worst fucking crying, the most loudest, painful, pathetic, whiny crying that you could ever imagine. And I cry to the point that I start vomiting violently. So then I'm vomiting violently while continuing to cry, and then, I'm laughing hysterically to the point that fucking Heath Ledger and Jared Leto would be like, "Oh my fucking God, man, you okay?" And I'd be like, No. Can we get ice cream? Dairy Queen. But it's just... I actually think I want to go to Dairy Queen later. Though probably not the best thing to just continue trying to treat depression with food and ice cream. But I mean, it's worked so far, right? And I still stand by the thing that anybody out there, if you feel sad or depressed, I do want you to go seek professional help. And I'm not judging you because honestly... granted, whatever you've been through is probably a million times worse than what I've gone through in my life. But I guarantee you I'm more of a fucking bitch. It's so bad the way I cry in the video. It is so bad. It's like a couple hours straight at least of me just crying so much that I cry to the point of vomiting. I sound like I'm having a fucking asthma attack / hyperventilation thing half time. Heck, given the fact at one point I talk about how my arms are going numb, I'm like, apparently I may have been having a fucking heart attack. And like I said, I was crying so hard I started vomiting. And I basically screamed myself unconscious. That's really fucking bad. And that's just bad to describe just for you listening to this video. Let alone the actual fucking audio of me screaming myself unconscious while violently vomiting from excessive crying while laughing hysterically worse than any superhero villain laugh ever. Like I said before, I can't do the fake laughing. It's got to have some kind of emotion behind it. It just would have been nice if the laughing I was doing was happy laughing. Because, say, maybe I watched some Gabriel Iglesias or something, or Robin Williams, and I'm like, that's hilarious and funny. and it made me laugh. Ha 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 ha. But whether it's a happy laugh or a whatever the fuck I did in the fucking 13-hour stream, I can't fake it. But it'd be nice if my fucking laughter in the fucking video wasn't so fucking cursed. Like, I feel like fucking SCPs and creepypastas would run away from me in terror hearing that shit. Like, it is... And that's the main thing I'm trying to say is this. If anyone out there is sad, depressed, suicidal even, or self-harm or any of that, I'm not judging you. Because I'm worse in terms of how fucked I am in the head, okay? How can I judge you when I'm even worse? Granted, I've never hurt anybody or anything like that. And again, I'm not judging for that, even though I haven't done... Again, I'm getting off topic. It's just... I'm trying to say I'm not judging anyone. That's what I'm just trying to say. Like, if you guys got something going on, whether it's you're very sad, you're depressed, you have thoughts of self-harm or suicide, or even thoughts that are violent or self-depreciating, or any kind of emotional instability, whether it's from a chemical imbalance, a hormonal imbalance, emotional issues, chemical imbalances, physical damage to the brain, physical damage to an internal organ that influences your chemical reactions, a really shitty real life situation in terms of being able to pay bills, or divorce, or child custody, or trauma, family issues, or whether it's an issue of your sexuality and you don't really feel like you'd be accepted, let alone not treated in a violent way that would, be other people murdering you in cold blood. And then it's issues of, one, because like I said, I am religious. I do believe in God. So then it also becomes, because like I said, I disagree with the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing, just because, it's an issue of, it was a city full of violent, murderous rapists. It had nothing to do with the whole gay thing. It's your gender and your orientation and sexual preference and all that stuff, even identity, all of that stuff does not make you hurt people. That doesn't influence that. Your gender and orientation does not influence how you treat other people. It just influences what flavor of ice cream you like. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what orientation you are. That doesn't change what kind of person you are. It doesn't change how you treat people. That has no effect on it. That has no bearing at all on how you affect other people. And honestly, anybody who would treat other people in a way that, murder, rape, any of that shit, fucking pieces of garbages. I do judge you. And I don't mean like self-defense issues. Like, that's fine. Same way people in the military, I respect you. Like, I'm grateful I have friends who are in the military. I appreciate everything you guys do. Like, I understand that I am not emotionally or physically capable of doing that job. I just wouldn't be up to it. I'm not man enough. I'm not good enough of a person. I'm not morally good enough or strong enough or emotionally capable of dealing with that stuff. I would be a detriment and a liability if I were in the military or the police force. Because at one point I considered the idea of military or police, and I decided I'm just too much of a liability. I'm just not good enough to do that sort of shit. Heck, I'm like, if I were to ever go in the military, I'd just do fucking grunt work. Because I'm not good enough of a person to be capable of doing anything more than that. Because if I did anything more that had any kind of, consequences for other people, well, then I would just fuck up and be such a failure that other people would have to suffer because of my failures. And I don't, and not just due to malice or anything. I mean, literally, I wouldn't want other people to get hurt just because I'm so fucking incompetent that I wind up letting other people down that are depending on me. And they get hurt because I'm just not good enough. Same way, like, I considered the idea of a doctor at one point. But my hands tend to shake a little bit all the times. It's fine for doing, because I can still get by with fine motor movements in terms of my job. But, you know, a Terminator's not going to get sad. You know, whereas, like, and plus, I don't really, it's funny. I've been interested in stuff like the Hellraiser stuff since I was a small child. But I don't like blood or needles or pain. And I'm a pacifist. Get that through your fucking head. How does that make sense? That I have an interest in like creepypastas and in scary video games and in horror movies. Particularly maybe watching a horror movie with a very sexy woman and just cuddling under some blankets and watching it together. But it's like Dungeons and Dragons. I don't hardly play it, but I'll read the books, mainly because I don't have anyone to play fucking Dungeons and Dragons with anymore. Like, apparently I'm antisocial even by nerd standards. But, like, I've never played Warhammer a single time, and yet I have, like, 8 fucking Warhammer books, at least. And I'll just read it for the lore, because I like stories. I like reading. And here's the thing. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I've read the Bible a few times through. I'll still occasionally read. But here's the thing. I've read Greek mythology. I've read other religions. I have read the Warhammer books, Dungeons and Dragons. I've read novels. I've read Don Quixote, Geoffrey Chaucer, Brave New World, 1984, Shakespeare, Edgar Allan Poe. I like to read, but I have a tendency to want to read everything. So it's hard for me to like maintain a proper understanding of or memory of certain things. Like there's times that I've read some of those creepypastas from my unrehearsed narrations where I forgot what was happening. Hell, I've heard the story of Jeff the Killer hundreds of times, and yet while I was reading it out loud for the video, I kept forgetting the ending. I kept expecting a happy ending. So not only was I forgetting the actual ending to the story or how it went, but I kept like blanking out on the fucking genre of the story. Like it was going to be fucking friendship and hugs and rainbows and shit. It's weird. Like I've had an interest in like the Hell Cube movies, like not just the Lament configuration from Hellraiser, but like there was a movie series called Cube and Hypercube and Zero Cube. Found that sort of stuff interesting as a child too. And of course, I've had a very interest in anime. But of course, anime is one of those things that just, it bridges across all sorts of genres. You can have stuff like Outlaw Star and Dragon Ball Z. You can have Fruits Baskets. Or Sailor Moon or Yu Yu Hakusho. Heck, take my avatar for the picture I use for my channel. It's a fusion of Yusuke Urameshi and Sailor Moon. I picked that picture because I like Yu Yu Hakusho and I like Sailor Moon. And because I think it's a neat little reference to the fact that not only is the Dragon Ball Z fusions a thing, but also the author of Sailor Moon, she is actually married to the author of Yu Yu Hakusho. Plus, I feel like the facial expression for the picture kind of like if you were to take my personality, my heart, the way my brain functions, and you were to like draw it as a face displaying an emotion that like describes my personality, that face is me. I don't even remember where I found this fucking picture. Somewhere on Google. Just because, like I said, I'm that much of a fucking nerd who likes Yu Yu Hakusho and Sailor Moon that I was like, this is awesome. And of course, the banner for my page is Zelos from Slayers. Simply because he's a pretty cool character. Though I like the rendition that's done of him in the Tuflorian stories. And what do I mean by Tuflorian is this. Tuflorian is a fan fiction thing. And yes, fan fiction. But here's the thing you got to keep in mind. Lots of animes, like Overlord, or The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, a lot of those started as light novels, as basically a normal novel, and not a visual novel because it really wouldn't have very many pictures with it. For the most part, it was just a straight up fucking novel, a story like Harry Potter. And that's how a lot of animes came about, same way with Slayers. In fact, what you would consider sort of a chapter 0 would be the prequel stuff. Now, there are 3 seasons to the Slayers anime. And the original light novel stuff started before that. And it was like Lena traveling around Naga. And then season 1 is Lena meets Amelia and Zelgadis and Guri. And they're on the run from the Red Priest, who is trying to resurrect Shabradingdo because he's blind. He's trying to get his eyesight back. Now, before the beginning of that, Naga goes her own way. And you don't really see much of her through the thing. Second season's about, Volgov, about dragons. And like dragons, well, no, that's about Gob. Right? Season 2 is more about Gov, who's like a general under Phil Brizo, who's like hunting Lena because they're trying to get her to use the spell that she used to re-vanquish the Lord of the Demons because they see it as a way of destroying the entire planet. So, and then the third one's about like multiple dimensions and the Sword of Light's true purpose and dragons being racist against each other or some shit. And Zelos and Volgov kind of coming to the forefront about how the story is. And then it just sort of ends. Now, I think the main writer of Slayers has continued to write more stories, but I really haven't kept up with it, so I don't know what they've done. But there was a guy by the name of Tuflorian, though I'd be careful about what websites you find it on, because I haven't seen this novel for like over a decade, so I don't even know if it still exists. But there was this person who wrote fan fictions. And yes, some of the stories were lemons, but not these ones. Lemons basically means it's novel, but it's a hentai. Basically, it's like porn, but there's no pictures. It's all in your imagination. But that's beyond the point. Tuflorian wrote some stories. The main continuation he did was 3 novels that were each enormously long. I think it was like Reflection, Chaos, and Rebirth. Like Reflection was about Lena and Guri traveling. They do stuff with mirrors from an ancient sage, and they wind up, trying to avoid a prophecy, but then fulfilling it, and then Lena meets God. Okay. Then the second one, God gives Lena a quest to find the Adams and Eves of the world, the first 8 human beings that God made, the Lord of Nightmares, hence Slayers. And of course, you have the race of dragons, the Mazako, or angels, monsters, however you put it. Anyway. They have a bit of an adventure. Zelos becomes much more of a good allied person. You wind up finding out more backstory stuff, which of course, Tuflorian made up. But he did an amazing job. It's a great story. And the third one's more so like a war apocalypse sort of thing. Now, he did also make 2 other side stories. One called Diverge that ignores all this and again bridges off from the ending of the anime, which is sort of like an alternative story that's a little bit more down to earth. And then there's one called Slayers Virtual, which is a retelling of the season 1 anime, but as a cyberpunk, sci-fi, futuristic, cyberpunk, steampunk thing. More like a cyberpunk, actually, because it's definitely like futuristic and stuff like that. It's really cool. I liked those stories. Yeah, we're going on 2 hours. I'll still put those links down below. I put it in the previous video that I said I wasn't going to post the 13-hour video. And then I was like, I changed my mind because I'm like I should share it. But it's just, I just don't feel comfortable with that. But yeah, if any of you out there are sad or depressed or thinking about anything, self issues, I do want you to see a doctor, both your family doctor and a therapist. And check out the links down below. They're by people that are really cool and are very calming people and very nice, sweet, amazing channels that should help you with anxiety issues. Because, I mean, it helps me. But it's just... I'm not going to post the 13-hour video. Like I said, I might find a clip or two from it and record that. But that'll only be the stuff that I feel is acceptable. Because like I said, I passed out for 9... Like at one point, I screamed myself unconscious. I cried to the point of vomiting. I laughed like the most fucking maniacal Joker laugh that was devoid of any kind of happiness or joy. And it was just a laugh that all you heard in it was just pain and sadness. And just me being a very sad, depressed, hurt person. And that's all it was. It was like I was very emotionally upset to the point of laughing hysterically with a laughter that was completely devoid of any happiness or joy or humor. I mean, at the very least, there wasn't malice in it. There wasn't like the angry Joker stuff. It was more so just the saddest fucking noise you ever heard in the fucking world. And it's not really something I should be proud of. That, hey, here's a video of me crying really hard. Like I said, I mean, just and re-listening to that, it is the most it is a heavier cry than anything I've ever heard in my fucking life. That even includes movies, anime, video games, anything that's ever happened. And I've been at funerals and stuff. I've been at, situations where people were very, very upset for even worse reasons than a funeral. And yet no one cried that fucking bad, and it's just... I'm pretty sure if I post that, everyone's going to laugh at me or hate me or lose any respect they would have had for me if they ever had any to begin with. And just feel that, wow. I just feel like they would everybody would just really look down on me for that or be like, yeah, that's pathetic. Granted, I feel like at this point now I'm discouraging anyone listening to this who has depression issues. Like now I'm probably making you feel more worried and nervous about sharing. And I'm like, I'm being a coward. And if I would share the video, I'd probably encourage you to get help. And because I'm not going to share the video, well, you're like, well, he's like, Luna's scared of being judged. I mean, it's not like it's illegal to post a video of me being sad and pathetic. It's just sad and fucking pathetic. Then again, this video is too. I'm just rambling on, and nothing I say really has any value or merit. It's just, at the end of the day, I make these videos because if I wasn't making the video talking to a fucking computer screen, I'd be walking around my living room talking to myself there. So there's a question. I'm going to be starting to see a therapist, right? What should I tell my therapist? Like on the one hand, I feel concerned. Like there are certain things that I shouldn't tell my therapist because I wouldn't want them to forcibly prescribe me medications. Because I'll say this, if therapy isn't enough, if taking the steroids and sleeping pills isn't enough, and if maybe getting better sleep and having a higher testosterone level, which would actually maybe help me actually build some fucking muscle. Because like I said, I don't push things to the extreme Jack Hanma does. But I mean, I've been trying to build muscle. I've been trying to bench press. I've been trying to deadlift. I've been trying to jog. Even the times where I feel like I'm already like my work is killing me to the point that I'm sometimes worried that I'm going to be at my job and I feel like all the tendons in my knee are just going to suddenly snap and my knee might just fucking dislocate and I'll be crippled the rest of my fucking life. You might say, that's a odd thing to think about, Lunar. Well, I do think about it because I do have weird pains in my legs. Granted, that's because, I'm standing my entire job. My entire job is me standing, moving, walking, moving in semicircles, bending over, like at all times. My ankles, my knees, my thighs, my hips, my lower back, my shoulder blades, the weird fucking muscle thing that goes between your bicep and tricep. I don't remember what to fucking call it. Because you got your bicep and you got your tricep, and then say, for example, like do a push-up. Like if you're doing a push-up, you know that muscle that sticks out a little bit that's like on the outside of your arm, that curves around your arm, that is right between your bicep and your tricep. That it's not your bicep, it's not your tricep, but it like goes between it. And if like my bicep and tricep, I feel like have been shrinking in size. But that muscle is like it is so fucking huge. Same way like most like the inside of my leg muscles aren't very developed at all. But the outside of my leg and calf are like the most big ass fucking awkward bricks you can imagine. It doesn't make fucking sense. And then like I have weird like a brick of muscle inside both my shoulder blades. Heck, maybe if I wasn't such a fucking fat ass, I'd have the fucking Yujiro Hanma back. Because apparently, my back is muscular as fucking shit. Because I use my back so fucking much. So maybe if I wasn't such a fat ass, I'd actually have the Yujiro Hanma demon back. Then again, same with my chest. I actually have a decent amount of muscle inside my pectoral muscles. I actually have pretty big pectoral muscles. But because I have a layer of fat over it, I feel it makes me look like a fucking woman, and it makes me look like I have boobs. And I feel that that makes me look very ugly and unattractive. And like my legs, like the inner muscles of my legs, like on the inside of my thigh, are just kind of squishy. But then the outer part of my thigh is like such a gigantic, oversized brick that feels like fucking solid iron and like bulges out. And I'm like, I don't know. But even then, like I said, like if I lay down for a while and I go to sit up or go to walk to the bathroom, I'll have to like brace myself against the wall because like after a while not standing and I go to stand again, it's like my legs are just racked with pain. Even on a day that I wouldn't exercise, even on a day where I don't jog or any of that shit, I go like after like sitting down for a while and letting my like the pressure off my legs, I go to stand up. I feel like my legs are just racked with pain, like my body can't support its own weight. And I feel like my ankles, part of my feet, my hips, I feel like the like you know where your knee is and the part of your knee that's closest to your pinky toe, I know that's not like you know that little ball that sticks out of your knee, like say right now, this is my right knee that I'm holding that you guys can't see because I'm not using a fucking webcam or anything. I'm just saying this is my right knee over here, right? You know this little ball over here that's next to my knee? Now if I were to follow a path straight down, if my goal were to get to my pinky toe, I feel like there's a cord of muscle there that just sort of is overdeveloped, super strong, sticks out and is in constant pain. And I feel like my knees, like I don't think I could run to save my life at the moment because my knees, like I feel like all the tendons and ligaments that connect my knees to my muscles, I feel like all of that hurts all the time. My lower back hurts, my shoulder blades hurt, the weird muscle between my bicep and tricep hurts, but it's also fucking gigantic. Which I don't mind that. I would like my arms to be bigger, but I would also like my biceps and triceps to be larger. It's also like my forearms actually fairly muscular. Like the muscle that, like, when you rotate your hand, because, I move my arms constantly in my job. My job is constant bending, turning in semicircles, having to walk, having to do stuff, and having to do things with my hands, and having to lift and adjust things from building Terminators all day. Like I said, the T-800s I build will either kill everybody on the planet, when Skynet takes over, or make souffles. I would actually prefer the souffles, because I don't remember ever eating a souffle, and if I have, it must not have been very good, because I can't remember it. Watch, at some point in the past, somebody made me a souffle, and they're like, oh, I feel left out. He forgot. I'm like, I'm sorry. It made hurt feelings. But it's just like, I'd rather than make a souffle. Because like I said, I'm technically a pacifist, but I do believe very strongly that people should defend themselves and defend other people. I feel like the main purpose of someone having strength or power is to protect others. So, if you see somebody else being hurt, you should protect them. But don't put yourself in harm's way. Because because the world is a dangerous place. I don't want you guys getting hurt. If you're listening to this video, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. Even if you mean well, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. And but you guys know your limitations, right? Just be safe, okay? Just don't do anything dangerous, like go off the roof in a shopping cart. That's dangerous. Don't do anything like the Jackass movies, like Johnny Knoxville and stuff. Anything they do, don't do that. That stuff's not safe. It's not safe, not recommended. Unless you're Johnny Knoxville. But even then, I'm like, I don't think anyone out there wants Johnny Knoxville to die. So it's like, are you okay? He's like, please be careful. I feel like we got off topic. Then again, the original topic was going to be 2 minutes of an intro, and then I play the video of me screaming myself unconscious. And now it's been 2 hours. Which, what have I been doing? Just talking. Like I said, the 13-hour video, I sing a couple hundred songs in terrible karaoke. I have personal conversations basically about, well, like I said, I'm not entirely straight. I feel like I would qualify with Alucard from fucking Team 4 Stars Hellsing Abridged. There is no one alive who can comprehend my sexual preference. Because like I said, I like women, but I also like Astolfo. But you're like, Lunar, there's a lot of people that like Astolfo to the point that, like, there are memes about that, man. There are memes about that. You're not the only person out there, Lunar, that has that feeling. Same way, like, basically, not entirely straight, but then again, like, same way that's, like, there's some, like, there's lots of women I wouldn't find an attraction for. But then again, I don't understand how my brain works or why. Then again, I'd probably also try to perhaps date more big titty goth girls than what is perhaps healthy. It was fun, but it was probably not healthy. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think the main point is this. I'm Christian. I believe in God. There's a lot of people who believe in God that feel that God hates gay people. And I'm like, it's like, okay, so God hates me. And like, I kind of want God to like me. And not just because of the whole heaven thing. Also because I'm a sad, lonely person who wants acceptance. Also, in general way, society would be a bit judging about it. Plus, I've encountered people who have said that gay or trans people shouldn't, be allowed to have jobs or medical care or should all be killed. And like that makes me uncomfortable, especially since I don't exactly count as 100% heterosexual. Like I would count as bisexual, even though like I said most men I wouldn't have an attraction for. Like like the big burly guy stuff. I'm like, no, I have no attraction there at all. But the same way Astolfo, or take a lot of the pictures from the Salem audio stuff. But then again, a lot of that's more so just, I like the demeanor there. It's just like the kind, caring affectionateness. That apparently I just want affection. For someone to be like, hey, Lunar, you're attractive. And somebody actually cares about you. Like, it's like, oh, that's a nice feeling. So a lot of it may just be the fact that I'm just a very lonely person who is just very, very deprived of affection. And then again, it's the kind of thing where I talk to myself a lot. It's mainly, I think, just a reaction to the fact that I tend to be alone all the time. So I think it's just me reacting to being lonely. So I think it's just me talking to myself is a mixture of one part extreme, severe loneliness and one part of just severe, extreme, lots of people were very mean to you, and a lot of those negative things that people have done or said to you is still inside your head and still makes you feel very emotionally sad, and you tend to regurgitate that same negative talk, except toward yourself, because it's so fucking ingrained in your mind that you can't let go of the horrible things that people called you or did to you or said to you or treated you, and it still makes you sad and feel inferior and feel like everyone hates you, and that at any time everyone around you is going to suddenly try to kill you. And that's even just the paranoid part of that. Like, there are people in real life I've met and people I still know who, like, even people that you would think I should be able to trust, who have been very open. Like, they've been very clear that they feel that a person being gay is worse than committing murder and that gay people should all die. And I'm like, it's like, well, by that statement, it's like, because like I said, I definitely like women a lot more than the male preference, but at the same time, it's like, I like Astolfo. I like a lot of that stuff, and of course I like Futanari. A lot of that stuff is just also something I like. It's not going to lie about that. That's, but at the same time, in that sort of situation, I'm just going to keep that to myself around people that have been very verbal that they would kill me in that scenario. That if I were to even say, oh, I'm bisexual, they'd probably slit my throat and light me on fire. So it's, at that point, it's one, a concern of, would people even accept me or, still respect me or be kind to me, let alone, are they going to outright try to commit murder against me? Also, keep in mind the fact that, I do have a son, and granted he's a bit older at this point, but I was like, I feel like people would be like, oh, you're not entirely heterosexual, so you wouldn't be a good parent. so you shouldn't be allowed. It's like I feel like that would be used against me. Like I feel like they would try to reason that, hey, you're not 100% heterosexual, so you obviously wouldn't be, a good parental figure. Like I feel like that would be used as a means of judging me, or even to say, oh, you're not 100% straight, so one, you deserve to burn in hell. You're a monster. You're disgusting. We all hate you. We're going to try to kill you now. And I'm like, that bothers me. It does. And also the feeling that it would be used against me legally, even to try to. I mean, people are like, well, like Luther, this is 2022. It's not illegal to be gay. It's not like the fucking 1950s where, because in the 1950s there were stories where there were people that were gay who would literally be lynched. Like, the whole. And like I said, there was a lynching is like people would kill people for any reason that made them like, oh, you're gay, you're black, you're Chinese. Even some areas that are like, oh, you're too white. Or you don't agree with the religion that's dominant in this area. Because I said, I'm Christian, but I don't think anyone should be punished in this life or the next for not believing in God, let alone for not believing in the way I do. Because I said, I believe in God, but there's things in the Bible I disagree with. Hell, there's so many stories in the Bible that are just so fucked up. Like, there's stories that, I believe them to be true, but they're definitely very morally and ethically fucked up. Like, there are so many stories, and no offense to Florida, what I'm about to say. Like, I enjoy the channel called Gray Still Plays. He's in Florida. He's hilarious. Definitely should go watch Gray Still Plays. If you're feeling sad, he will make you laugh. Gray Still Plays is awesome. Hell, I basically try to watch Gray Still Plays every chance I get. Gray Still Plays and Markiplier are amazing. Anyway, Gray Still Plays lives in Florida, and he'll make references to Florida Man all the time. He'll make it's like a common reoccurring joke that he uses. And it's not really a joke for him because that's the life he leads. He leads that life of excitement. What I'm trying to say is this. How many stories in the Bible would qualify as a Florida Man story? Like, how many stories in the Bible would count as that? And I'll say this. Like I said, I believe in God, but I disagree with a lot of things that are said in the Bible. I don't disagree that they're not true, because the stories about, Samson and David and Saul and Solomon, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Adam and Eve, I believe it all to be true. Now, do I think there's a lot of information left out? Yes. Do I think there's a lot of information that could be very vague or just not make sense or contradictory? Yes. But at the same time, it's like this. I believe in God, but I'm not a puppet. I can make decisions for myself. At the same point, other people would say, how dare you say that you would disagree with God in certain things? I'm like, I believe in God. I respect God. I love God. I appreciate everything I've been blessed with in my life. The fact that I still have a body that, I'm not dead. Which is weird. I'm a depressed person that thinks about, self-deletion, but at the same time, I've never tried to hurt myself, and I try my best to try to be happy. I try my best to stay safe, to keep from being hurt, to keep from taking unnecessary risks, and to take moderate care of my body. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Hell, I've never smoked anything in my fucking life. The only medications I take are either stuff that's prescribed by a doctor or stuff I get from a supplement store because I'm trying to build some muscle or because I'm trying to self-medicate myself. But, I use stuff that's from a vitamin shop. It may not be FDA approved all the time, but it's supposed to be healthy. It's supposed to be good for me. It's supposed to make me happier. It's supposed to make me stronger. It's supposed to help me build muscle. It's supposed to help my immune system. In the case of melatonin, maybe help me get some sleep. Apparently it doesn't fucking work. Main point, I have extremely low self-esteem, and I'm a severely lonely person. But I do value my life, and even though I do have some negative self-talk and do tend to get on my own case about certain things, and tend to feel a bit depressed and sad, and have certain thoughts on reoccurring basis, I do value my life, and I do everything I can to protect it. Now, you might say, if you really value your life, why do you eat so many pizzas? Why do you eat food? And it's because it makes me happy. Because I can get a pizza from Pizza Hut. And granted, I'm not exactly fat. I'm just not athletic. It's just, and of course, I feel like, given my body, I mean, anybody looking at me like, well, Lunar, your face is ugly, you're too short, your arms are too skinny, you're too weak, you apparently have some sort of heart problem because your chest and heart hurt all the fucking time. But hey, that's another part they're going to re-X-ray as far as also my abdominal areas to check certain things. Oh, by the way, genetically, you're unappealing as a spouse for anyone because, there's too much fucking shit wrong with you on a physical and psychological level. So why the fuck would anyone want to put up with you? Then again, predominantly any reasons why my relationships ended in the past was, well, people told me I was too ugly to keep having sex with, that I was too nice, that I was too kind, I'm not violent enough, I'm too boring. And because they wanted to get fucked by like 6 other dudes or some shit. I don't know. Usually that's the cheating thing. Like, oh, yeah, I still kind of liked you, but I wanted to fuck this other guy. I'm like, okay, that's, bye. And I put up with some bullshit back when I was married, but that was more so just because I wanted to keep my family together. That, and I didn't want a person just disappear with my son. I wanted to do what was best for him. Which obviously, like I said, I don't want to talk about that too much. Just, I love my son very much. I'm proud of him. He's doing great in school. I do throw a football with him from time to time. So I'm kind of worried. I think, granted, they had me do step because of COVID and shit, but, if he goes into football, granted, they're not it's not like he's a teenager yet, but, I don't want him to get hurt. So I'm kind of worried. I mean, how many times even in high school I remembered football players back then, sometimes the jocks wound up getting their leg broken or having a concussion. I don't know. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I'm not even sure what I was talking about anymore. Like I said, this initial was supposed to be 2 minutes, then me posting, re-recording that video of, me crying to the point of vomiting and screaming myself unconscious while laughing in the most fucking maniacal Joker laugh that's, honestly, like I said, Jared Leto, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, and Joaquin Phoenix could all be in the room with me and they'd be like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Or we're like, yeah. They might all just walk by me and just start putting their hand on my back. I'm like, it's okay, Lunar. It's okay. Like I said, I'll keep that video for my own self-reference on how to be a better person and how not to be so fucking sad, apparently. And there might be a couple clips of where I maybe sing a song okay, Because like I said, the video is me singing a couple hundred songs, screaming myself unconscious, crying to the point of vomiting, talking about religious stuff and politics, relationship issues, personal beliefs and biases, my son, my interests in guitar, and concerts I've gone to. There's also a lot of self-depreciating talk where I was just saying very, very bad things to myself. And it's like I'm going to be going, and like I said, I'm still against the idea of antidepressants because I'm worried about how that stuff would interact with my brain. Plus, I know that sort of stuff that if you do start taking it, even if it were to work well, your brain chemistry would then have to be adjusted to it. So you'd then be dependent on it. It'd be the sort of stuff that once you start taking it, it'd be an addiction, which, again, I'm not trying to say that anyone out there who is taking it shouldn't take it. Like, obviously, talk to your doctor. That's between you and your doctor. I'm just saying I'm nervous about it. I'm worried about it. Like, I don't feel comfortable with it. Plus, I'd be scared in a situation like say war suddenly broke out here in America and you don't have ability to fill a prescription anymore. Or say, more reasonably, I somehow lose my job and I can't afford, and I lose my health insurance with it. Well, what happens if I suddenly can't afford or have access to the antidepressants? Like, it's one thing right now, like, okay, I don't have anything. At one point I tried a little bit of a thing from a vitamin store, I think back a year ago. And it was like this hemp oil stuff that's supposed to have like a very marginal amount of THC in it. If like a CBD oil, it's called CBD oil. So it's called CBD oil, but it's not like supposed to have enough of that stuff to get you like higher. It's supposed to just like it's supposed to have a calming effect as well as it's supposed to help your body recover from injuries. And I think I tried it twice about a year ago, about February last year. But then I think I wound up having to throw it away for some reason. I can't remember why. I know one time I took it like the second part because when I played Super Meat Boy, it took me 9 parts to beat it. The first 2 parts were on a keyboard. Part 2, I took a little bit of the CBD oil. And I think for the most part I sounded a lot more calm. But I think either I accidentally knocked over the bottle and broke it, or I think like I just went a couple weeks without trying it, and then I went to try it again and it tasted almost acidic. But honestly, I can't remember. You'd think I'd be able to remember that, but I can't. I'm just saying I tried it a couple times. Most of it I had to throw away. But it felt like it worked. It's just like I don't know if I'd be able to like do my job in that situation. Like it's not like I'd be high. Like I've never smoked weed. I've never even taken, any sort of edible or anything like that. Though honestly, if a doctor were to prescribe it to me, maybe I would. But I've never smoked anything in my life. Nicotine, tobacco, well, that's the same fucking thing. Nicotine, marijuana, anything else that's smokable. I know, I like marshmallows. I like s'mores. That doesn't fucking count. A s'more is not a drug. Maybe it's not the right time to chocolate. I fucking hate you. And here again, here I am talking to myself. But it's more so an issue of, I think it's just that I'm just really lonely, and the fact that, one, it's been 2.5 hours that I've been rambling. At this point, I kind of have to talk to myself because it's just me. At least if I'm playing a video game, I can focus on the video game. And I can, use that as a soundboard. Otherwise, if it's just me, all of a sudden I start becoming this fucking echo chamber and I start talking to myself. Maybe it's out of boredom. Maybe it's just loneliness. Maybe it's just the fact that, I'm thinking out loud for such a long period of time, and I don't have somebody else to interact with. So then, at that point, I just start I have to start interacting with myself, because at that point, it's just, how else? But then again, I think a lot of politicians and lawyers and people that do debates, yes, I was doing air quotes when I said debates, even though you guys couldn't see that. But I expected you to. Probably an unfair expectation on my part. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, I feel people that do debates and discussions, particularly ones that they rehearse, like take Elon Musk. He has discussions with people, right? I imagine Elon Musk does maybe not exactly what I'm doing right now per se, but I imagine Elon Musk has conversations with himself where he imagines, like, say if he was trying to convince somebody that an electric car is a good thing, or about the usefulness of a warp drive in a spaceship, or about using artificial gravity or how to do it. Like, I imagine he would also try to voice the opposing side so that he would then have a better understanding of how to guide the conversation, so that when he were actually having the conversation for real with another human being, he'd be better at it, and he'd already have an idea what they were going to say. The only thing is, I'm not like getting ready for some fucking debate on like politics or something. Like, yeah, I'm running for president or some shit. It's more so just that I tend to have, like, okay, here's a thought about philosophy. Well, let's argue it both ways with myself, because I'm trying to make up my own mind or try to understand something better. So it's not that I'm trying to win, it's just that I'm just either bored or I'm just trying to think critically. Is that how you'd put that? Does that count as thinking critically? Where you're basically addressing an issue from multiple angles and arguing it with yourself in order to gain a better understanding of it and see it from a, open-minded point of view? That would be thinking critically, wouldn't it? I just think my way of doing it is perhaps unorthodox. Originally, I was going to title this video Mental Breakdown Audio Time Lapse. Because that's what the 13-hour stream is. It's literally just a fucking mental breakdown. But, like, it's very rare for someone to have a fucking psychotic break and actually record it. And I'll say I don't want a fucking sponsor, but FBI, if you want to hear it, actually pay me. Like, let's go out for ice cream. Let's all go to Dairy Queen. Again, you have to be nice to me. And you can't actually charge me with anything because I haven't done anything illegal. Being cringy and weird and liking Pepsi is not wrong. And while it's perhaps not a good idea to drink as much Red Bull as I do, that's not illegal. It's just bad for my heart. Very unhealthy. Really should probably try to eat healthier. At the same time, I do like pizza and cheeseburgers and KFC. But again, I'm pretty sure here in America, I don't think I'm alone there. I'm pretty sure there's other people that like fast food and eat more of it than what is perhaps healthy. Like, there are other people that eat too much fast food, right? I don't know what I'm trying to talk about anymore. And like I said, I like the YouTube community. I like Let's Play community. I enjoy watching Let's Play, like, say, Gray Still Plays and, Markiplier and everything. I remember a lot of times watching Let's Players, and a lot of times maybe I wouldn't have a person to hang out with in real life. And I'd watch maybe Ultra J-Man play Battle Kid, where I want to be the guy. And it'd make me feel less alone. It's almost like I was vicariously hanging out with that person as a friend. Greatly, I'd say the same thing about Freelance Astronauts. It was very enjoyable to watch them. It almost felt like I was on the couch with them, hang out, which I imagine everybody in Freelance Astronauts, Fair. I actually can't remember most of their names. Let's fire for the best. It'd be kind of weird if I could. I only remember Fair because there's that video called Fair's Chronicles of Pain, where he kept accidentally hurting himself. Like, at one point he tried to jam open a fucking Pepsi can with his thumb, and he cut his thumb. I think Maxwell, Maxwell Adams, is the main guy. He was usually the MC, master of ceremonies. I don't remember how many people there were total. They usually have. It was kind of cool watching them play the Super Mario Wii on co-op difficulty, because it was just 4 people, but they weren't playing Mario as friends. They were just all trying to dick each other over at all times. Pick up a turtle shell, throw it at each other, just be the biggest assholes. And they were constantly cussing. It was just and yeah, sometimes the way they were talking could be a bit raunchy, but it was funny. It was hilarious. It made me laugh. Kind of like Proton John playing Kaizo Mario. It's just, I enjoyed it. It made me smile. It made me laugh. It made me feel less alone. It made me feel like we were vicariously, hanging out as friends. Granted, that perhaps sounds a bit sad and pathetic, and perhaps would probably make every Let's Player in the world who I have watched feel uncomfortable and probably wish that I had never turned on YouTube at all. But I'm just saying this. Markiplier, I appreciate you. I'd like to see you play the rhythm horror game Thumper. And I'd like to see you play the platformer Jubilee. And I would like to see you play the trilogy of Perfect Apocalypse, which consists of Love at First Bite, Purgatory Forever, and Patches Inferno. I want to see Markiplier play all that, because I think it would be hilarious. But yeah, I just like the Let's Play community. I don't want to make any money. I don't want to be a job. Because here's the thing. I do this as a way of dealing with stress. Granted, maybe I just need to talk to a damn therapist. I am at least going to see a therapist now. Because after, crying myself to the point that I started vomiting while laughing hysterically and, screaming myself unconscious. And granted, initially I was like, okay, it's not that big a deal. Then I'm going back through and re-listening to my own video, and I'm like, it's worse than I remember. And I'm like, yeah. Initially I was kind of putting it off because I'm like, well, seeing a therapist is expensive. And I'm like, I don't want to spend the money on that because I'm kind of worried about that. Plus, I'm kind of worried if I see a therapist and I tell them something that seems like too much of a red flag to them, that maybe they might be insistent that I have to go on a antidepressant. I'm like, one, maybe a lot of my depression's just the fact that I have very bad luck with women in terms of getting rejected a lot, and a lot of times when I do have a relationship, it either ends very badly or sometimes the person I'm with turns out to be abusive. And that also is very hurtful emotionally. So maybe it's just justified emotional response to loneliness, trauma, fear of things in life. Whereas, there's other things going on, like, I had a divorce happen. My son doesn't live with me. My job pisses me off. I appreciate it for the money to pay my rent, but my job physically causes me pain. And I hate my job. And I can't listen to music in any form, and I really want to listen to music. And it feels so fucking mind-numbing and soul-killing what I do for a living. And it causes me physical and emotional pain. And I hate it. And every single day at my job, I want to just throw everything to the ground and walk the fuck out. And a lot of times I'll just have to imagine music in my mind because it's the only thing that helps me just cope and get through the drudgery. And here's the thing, my job, I have to do a lot of physical manual labor. And I'm expected to do it with skill and accuracy and quality and with speed. And it physically hurts me to do it. Literally, and a lot of times I'm tired and exhausted from lack of sleep. So a lot of times I feel like I want to pass out all the times. Let alone the fact last night I felt even more so because, they took blood for tests. And it's just, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed just from being awake, let alone doing the tasks they want me to do. And it's just moving the way they want me to do, with the speed they want me to do it. I can do it, I succeed at what they want me to do, and I do a good job. But it hurts. It causes me physical pain. Plus, I also have the constant concern that if I work too hard at the gym, that if I lift too many weights, that it'll, one, even if I don't injure myself, I might be too sore and tired to do my job correctly. Or, not only might I be too tired and sore to be able to function, but also a lot of my job not only requires the gross motor movements of either walking places or having to do multiple semicircle turns while moving my arms at weird angles while lifting and moving machines and shit. There's also the fact that a lot of things require very fine motor movements and finger dexterity in order to, put things together. Because there's a reason parts of my forearm are muscular, and that's because I'm having to pick things up a lot. I'm having to use my back a lot. I'm having to move my arms forward and up and at weird angles while lifting and moving things. And I'm having to do things with my fingers and fine motor movements. If I do too much, weightlifting, I might not, because I've noticed sometimes if I try to lift too much or too long, not only is my arm sore and it's hard to do that, but even the finer motor movements of my hand is harder. And a lot of times if I'm too sore, my hands will shake more, and because my arm will be too weak to be stable. So then it's also I want to be stronger, but it's also I have to be careful not only to not hurt myself, but also to not overwork myself to the point that I'm no longer capable of doing the fine motor movements that are required for my job. The other thing is this. Even if I had a girlfriend, I imagine I would still be doing Let's Plays because, one, I enjoy doing the Let's Plays, but two is this. A lot of this is just me getting a chance to either talk, or say if I was playing Isaac or Hades, a lot of that's just me cussing. Well, if I was playing a video game with another person, I wouldn't really be cussing because I don't want to make them uncomfortable. But with that, it's more so, it's a way of venting for me. Because there's so many things I'm stressed and pissed at, and by cussing and yelling at the video game, it helps me be more calm and patient and cool and collected for the rest of normal life where I interact with other actual human beings. A video game's not going to feel sad that I cussed at it. But by venting that out, say if someone annoys me in real life, well, I won't be as quick to be angry and I'll be more calm and collected. Plus, I enjoy it. It brings me joy. I do enjoy playing a video game. Though I do like things with story sometimes. I do like action. It's just, I also like the idea of wanting to be a part of the YouTube community. And I do like the idea of people liking the video. I do like, people, anytime somebody comments on a video and says something nice. Granted, there was one dude who commented a negative thing when I did because technically I did 2 parts of, what was it called? Dark Deception. It's that game where you run away from the monkeys. I never could get past level 1, ever. I have the full game on my computer. It's uninstalled right now for extra space for other games. But I never could get past level 1. The first video is just me playing level 1. I can't do it. I can't beat it. I just can't do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep just playing the same level over and over and over again because, well, I would find that boring, let alone who's going to want to watch me struggle to run away from monkeys over and over. Like, why would you want to fucking see that? So I made a video that was like, hey, it's Pac-Man, but I called it isometric dark deception. And a person's like, this isn't dark deception. Like, that's the point, man. I'm making a joke. This is a comedy channel. Like, this is a Let's Play channel, and it's also intended to be a comedy channel. Not everything's going to be a Let's Play. Like, the karaoke stuff, it's still intended for comedy purposes. You know, I know I'm terrible at singing. It's just, or just anything I feel like doing at the moment. A lot of times it's just, I have an idea pop in my head, I usually tend to do it. It's kind of like when it came to like the idea of recording the video I was going to do today. It's just, it was an idea. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I should do it. And it was just, I kept arguing it back and forth. I'm like, should I? Shouldn't I? Should I? Shouldn't I? But at the end of the day, it's just this. I don't feel comfortable with it. And I know that's cowardly on my part. I know I should just post the video. No matter how bad it makes me look, no matter how much of a pussy it makes me look like, no matter how fucking emo and sad and pathetic it is, I should still post it. It's dishonest of me not to post it. It's basically lying. It's basically being as dishonest as possible that I did the video, I recorded it, and then I'm not going to share it? It's not ethically right on my part, is it? But then again, maybe I'm a little bit too critical about that sort of stuff too. Like, it's my video, it's my choice what I choose to fucking share. I think it's just more the negative self issue still, where I'm just like, part of me is going to try to find any excuse to insult myself over anything. And it could be any choice I can make. Like, I get to a road and it's a choice to go left, right. It doesn't matter what I pick. I'd probably start insulting myself. I should have went the other way. Doesn't matter what the turns were going to or what was happening. Doesn't matter what the choice is. Or which way it would just... But that's just, again, had lots of negative sort of reinforcing things said and done in frequency enough that it's just sort of ingrained in my mind. And it's just kind of hard to not think that way. It's the idea that if you're told something enough times, over and over and over again, it doesn't matter what it is you're being told. If you're told it enough times, you're going to start to believe it. And you're going to start just repeating it to yourself. And it's like, I try not to. It's just, you hear certain bad things said to you over and over and over again. It's just, the damage stays with you. The hurt, it's not like, oh yeah, someone said something mean to you and it hurt your feelings, get over it. It's more so just like, it just keeps rolling around in your head, and it's hard to not let that hurtful thing just keep hurting you over and over again. Because at your core, you feel that you deserve it. You deserved to be called those horrible things. You deserve to be. And it's just, you don't deserve any of those bad things but, you know, if you're told something enough times over and over again, it stays with you, and it's hard to sort of move past. I don't know where we're going with this. I think the main point is that I do like when people comment, but I preferred if, you're saying something nice. That one guy was an asshole. And a lot of these videos, I'm trying to be comedy. I'm trying to make funny videos. I would say 95% of the channel, I wouldn't say it's funny, but I'm trying to be funny. Like, say, Fight Crab. It's a game where I'm a giant fucking crab with a sword fighting a fucking giant lobster with a gun. And the whole time I'm making fucking Dragon Ball Z jokes. Like, so a lot of it is Let's Plays, and a lot of it is me trying to be entertaining, trying to be funny, trying to be... It's kind of the thing last night where I was at work. Work turned off all the fans in the fucking building because they're like, we're going to save electricity. And it's winter, so you guys don't need fans. And I'm like, it's a factory, and we have so many fucking ovens in here that run at 80 degrees Celsius that we have to put parts into and then take them out of. And I'm like, I'm standing in front of that a lot of times and reaching into it and putting things into it and taking things out of it. I'm like, and plus I'm moving and doing physical. We're in a building. It doesn't matter if it's winter outside. I'm sweating my ass off and overheating. But they're going to turn the fans back on in April. But the main thing is this. The thunder happened and people are like getting a little worried. I'm like, guys, it's fine, it's fine. They just turned on the air conditioning. And it made some people laugh. Because in general, like if I see somebody sad, I want to cheer them up. If I see somebody feeling upset or something, I want to make them feel better. In general, I like being nice to people. I like being kind to people. Hell, I feel rudeness is an epidemic. I like being polite to people. I like being respectful to people. Now, granted, I like them to be kind and polite and respectful back to me. But in general, I don't like confrontation. I don't like fighting. I don't like screaming and yelling. Granted, you're like, well, I'll scream and yell a lot in a video game. Yeah. It's me venting my emotions. If I was playing a video game with another person in real life, I probably wouldn't yell. Hell, if I were to play an online game with another person, I'd probably try to match them in terms of how they are on it. Like, I don't know what YouTuber I could use as an example. But let's say if I played with some hypothetical YouTuber as an online game and we were both recording our voices, I'd probably only be as loud or cussing as that person would be. Like if the person I was playing with was fairly quiet and talked politely and didn't cuss at all, well then I would basically go with that. And it's not that I'd be copying them, it's that obviously that's how they feel comfortable with, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I want the person to enjoy playing the game with me. But yeah, it's just like, but at the same time, if the other person's like screaming, yelling, cussing the game too, then I'd probably scream too. But the same way, if the person's like polite naturally and they know I'm holding back because of that, I wouldn't want them to suddenly have to start screaming, cussing to try to make me feel like I should be more open. It's just, and I know like either way, back and forth, it's just like, well, is that being disrespectful to the person that you're overly walking on eggshells for them? That because you're so worried about that, and it makes them uncomfortable because you're trying to make them comfortable to such an extent that you're making them uncomfortable. And again, this is sort of like a line I'll go down sometimes in my head. I'll start overthinking things. And like I said, I'd be a terrible leader or politician. Because here's the thing. I would mean well. Same way if I had some sort of supernatural power and I could help people. I would mean well. But somehow I would make everything worse for everyone. And it would have been better if I didn't. Because so even if I had some way of helping somebody, if I tried to help, I'd probably make things worse. So same way if I were the president, I would mean well. But I would probably be so fucking awful and horrible at it. But I'd be trying to help. I'd be trying to help. I just don't think I would succeed. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to say that, you know, if I'm playing a video game by myself, I'll just react however I feel like. And if I feel like I'm stressed and pissed off and or just sometimes even if I'm happy, I can play a game and I can be cussing at it. It's just that I'm getting into it. You know, I'm becoming immersed into the game. And I'm just enjoying it. And I'm just letting go of any restrictions and just playing the game. And of course, if I were playing with someone who was polite and they were like, hey, Lunar, don't worry. You can cuss as much as you want. You can yell as much as you want. You can talk about whatever. You won't make me feel uncomfortable. But okay, you sure? Okay. And then I would. But, you know, that's only if that person was okay with it. I don't know. I tend to care about, like, how, like, if I'm hanging out with someone, how my presence affects them. Because I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. And I don't want to make someone unhappy. I don't know. I'm just weird. Main thing is I like recording. Yep, my voice is still scratchy from this. Apparently no amount of tea with lemon's going to help with that. Just time. Again, the 13 hours of screaming and cussing, even though that was back on Saturday and it's technically Tuesday now. Human bot, I'm not Wolverine from X-Men. I can't regenerate. I'm not Deadpool. So, well, since my voice is basically telling me that I need to stop, and like I said, this was supposed to be a 2-minute intro, then playing that video, which, again, I'm not going to do that because it's, in the previous video, the video I posted before this, I was like, yeah, hell no. I'm never, ever, 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 ever posting that video. And then after like one night working and arguing back myself, it's just like, it's not like I could, because that's another thing. It's like my job is like, I can't listen to music and I can't have any kind of music at all. And I can't really have access to a conversation really with anybody. Because even if I were to try to talk with anybody, all the fucking hydraulic noises and beeping and screw machines and ovens and everything that's going on, it's just, you can't hardly hear anything. And plus, you're having to constantly move. So you can't even stand in close proximity to somebody to have a conversation. And a lot of times, I'm out of breath doing my job. Like half the time, I don't know if it's just that I'm too fucking fat, apparently. Like the little bit of muscle that I have in my pecs and the fat over it. Is it just like crushing my chest? Is it that I'm just so fucking fat that my fucking lungs can't expand properly? Or it's just the fact that I'm constantly, moving at all times. And even though, like, well, it's not like I'm jogging, but then again, it's not like you would jog for 8 fucking hours straight, or say 12 hours in some situations. Granted, I haven't had to work fucking 12s in a while, but still. It's just, and granted, you do have breaks, but it's just like, breaks or not, even if my body weren't sore, I'm out of breath all the time for like even if it's just an 8-hour shift. My entire day at work, I am out of breath. My chest hurts. And a lot of times I'll have a migraine and I'll feel dizzy and I'll feel tired. And then, of course, a lot of my body's sore and my muscles are sore and my body's sore. My knees hurt. My shoulders hurt. My back hurts. The weird muscle between my bicep and tricep hurts. But it's also fucking gigantic, which I'm cool with. I'm glad that muscle is big. But I want my bicep and tricep to be big too, and my shoulder. No. Like, I just look at my arms and I'm like, well, that's pathetic. I'm barely more than a fucking skeleton, apparently. I'm just like a fucking skeleton with apparently a beer gut. Even though I don't drink beer, I do drink root beer and soda and a lot of Mountain Dew. The Mountain Dew is probably the issue. and the fast food. At the same time, I enjoy eating the food. I enjoy the taste. But also the fact that I need it for the energy. Like, how about maybe when I have the surgery, since I won't need to actually do much of anything, maybe I won't have to eat a whole lot, and I could just sort of, eat the bare minimum to recover, drink some water, and that way I wouldn't be dependent on caffeine at all anymore, and maybe I'd lose all the excess weight off my gut. Maybe I'd actually have a six-pack. Heck, maybe I'd have the fucking Yujiro Hanma demon back then. Maybe I would have less pain in my knees if I didn't have a gut, because then there'd be less weight on my knees. Whereas constantly, every time I turn, I'm like, there's sometimes I feel like my knee's going to buckle. Like, I'm actually worried that the tendons on my knee are going to give out and tear. Because there's sometimes I'll turn and I'll feel like, after my leg moves, I feel like my knee turns at an angle that none of the joints should support. Like, I feel like it'll turn sideways a little bit. And I'm like, part of me wants to scream in pain. Part of me is worried it's not going to stop turning. And granted, it's not that bad of a thing to complain about. I'm just saying, it causes me physical pain. And it's exhausting, both physically and emotionally. So it just... Then again, like I said, I am considering doing an office job. A thing that would help people that need to get medicine and to get, like, their insurance to pay for it and stuff. So, I mean, it would help people. And so I'd be helping people get medicine they need. And it'd be a job where I wouldn't have to be, killing my knees or back. And it's also a job that, say, if I were to go to the gym and push too hard at the fucking bench press, that it wouldn't affect the way I could work on a computer. Because it doesn't matter if I were to squat too hard or deadlift too hard or try to bench press too hard. I'd still be able to do the job at an office, even if I push too hard at a bench press. My current job, if I were to push too hard, no, I wouldn't be able to function anymore. I wouldn't be able to do my job, and guess what happened? Well, then I wouldn't have a job. But at the same time, like, I hate my fucking job. It causes me physical pain, and it emotionally kills my soul. And I am so bored and pissed off at all times. At the same time, the reason I keep going back to it is because it pays my rent. So I like having a place to live, and clothes, and food, and having money. So that if I want to go to a restaurant, or buy anime, or if I have a girlfriend, I can actually, go to the movies or something with her. I don't know. And I think the biggest thing we're seeing here, that we're going on 3 hours, is that I think the biggest thing is this. I tend to just talk to myself a lot of times anyway, because I feel the emotional need to talk. And a lot of times, either I'm at a job where there's too many background noises. The machines are going off. I have to do a job that's already making me out of breath. So a lot of times I can't breathe and I'm already out of breath and feel like I'm going to pass out. So I don't exactly have enough air to form words half the time. And a lot of times, it's not like I can stand in its close proximity, let alone even look in the direction of the person I'd want to talk to. Because, the way my job is. So it makes it hard to talk to anyone at all. So a lot of times it'll be 8 to 12 hours of just, with the exception of, hey, we need to attach this machine here or put that there. With the exception of that, it's 8 to 12 hours of just absolute silence, nonstop beeps and vacuums and machines and hydraulic presses. And just beep, smash, hop, hop, hop. No music, physical pain and exhaustion, and no one to talk to or interact with, pretty much. It's just constant physical and emotional pain, effort, and loneliness. And mind-numbing fucking boredom and tedium and monotony. And it's just... And then if there's a situation, say, in public where I'd want to talk to somebody, like say for example, if I saw a cute girl at the grocery store. Well, I mean, on the one hand, I'd want to go up and talk to her and like maybe take a notice of something that she's wearing to make a funny joke that might get her to giggle. Or just something interesting to have a conversation about. To get to know the person and just, get to know each other. It's just, one, it does feel kind of awkward. And two, I just kind of feel like, okay, why should I try to flirt with this woman when, like, why on earth would she want to talk to me? Like, there's probably 100 other people that are more attractive than me, more interesting than I am, and better than me in just about every single way. So why would that person want to talk to me? In fact, that person would probably be angry if I go to talk to him. And even then, it's just like, I don't know. Apparently, I can't stay on any kind of subject for a moment. I'm sorry, guys. And again, like I said, I'm going to save that one video just because for like self-reference so that I could just... Plus, I'll try to find a couple songs off it that I think sound good or at least funny in a lighthearted way. But I think at least half those songs I probably was breaking down crying in the middle of singing as well. And it's just... I just don't feel comfortable sharing that. I'm sorry, I don't mean any offense by it. It's just... I just don't feel comfortable with it. Like, it's just... I mean... At least the benefit of me recording it in the first place, I was able to listen to it. Because offhand, I probably would have like just wrote stuff off that, it wasn't that bad. Okay, I got a little upset, threw up a bit, whatever. It's fine. I'm dealing with shit just fine. But then, going back and re-listening to it, I'm like, dear fucking God. It's like it's worse than I remember. And I'm like, yeah, I should see a fucking therapist. Because it's just like, oh my fucking God. That being said, you know what? I'll probably use this in the title of the fucking video. I'm going to go see a therapist. What should I and what shouldn't I tell the therapist? Like what's usually the protocol for that? Like, what should I tell them? What shouldn't I tell them? Like, how should I approach this situation? How should I do this? No matter what, I'll still do the Let's Play videos. I think a lot of it's just that I want somebody to talk to. Granted, it's still me talking to myself, but I mean, I'll still sometimes get maybe a comment, feedback, and I think the biggest thing is this. I enjoyed the people that did Let's Plays in the past. Heck, I still enjoy watching Markiplier. It's kind of an interesting thought that somebody might actually enjoy making these. And if not, I just enjoy making these videos. And like I said, I could have 1 million fucking subscribers. Hell, I could have 10 million subscribers. I have no intention of partnering with YouTube or picking up fucking G Fuel or Raid Shadow Legends. Fuck that. Now, maybe like Valve Index decides to send me a free fucking VR kit. I'll take that. I'm not spending a fucking $1,000 on a VR thing. But they want to send me a fucking VR shit or a fucking Albedo figurine or an Astolfo figurine or a Chi-Chi figurine or a Goku figurine or a giant ass fucking Shenron or a bunch of light novels for like Overlord. I'd be cool with that. I'm a weeb. I'm a nerd. You're like, well, you could just accept money for it. I'm like, no, I don't want to get paid. I don't want it to be a job. But I am a nerd. I do like weeby, nerdy shit. Okay? I am a weeb. You know, I like anime. I like nerdy stuff. I've considered the idea of Beat Saber, but I'm sure as hell not going to buy a goddamn VR headset. Plus, I'm not even sure, because I have an Intel 7. I'm not sure if this would function with a VR set. And plus, even then, like, this is just a joke. I don't intend fucking Valve to take that seriously ever, or even be aware of it. It's just, it's funny to say. And I imagine it would get a laugh out of people. But it's just, I do say, I want to see Markiplier play Thumper and Jubilee and Perfect Apocalypse. That would be hilarious. Hell, a few days ago, I saw him play Bad End Theater. I played that game like a month or two ago. I never thought Markiplier would ever hear that game. It was cool for him to play that game. I want to see Markiplier play Thumper. And for Markiplier to play Jubilee and Perfect Apocalypse. I think that'd be hilarious. But yeah. I said I'll put those links down below for the... Because I did it in the video before this too. As far as people that would help. And like I said, no matter what, even if you watch all the ASMR stuff I link, you should still see an actual doctor. You know, if you are feeling sad or depressed, or have anything emotionally that's bothering you, or anything that's an issue of personality or mood or whatever, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you should see a doctor. Talk to your doctor about it. I mean, in general, your doctor just wants to help. Now, as far as whether or not you take antidepressants or not, that's between you and your doctor. Me, it's just, I would like to try the therapy stuff first, plus maybe taking prescription like Ambien or steroid patches. And again, that's just because my normal testosterone level is just fucking plummeting, which is either for some health reason or because maybe just my insomnia is like fucking me up or something. I don't know. Maybe having insomnia too long makes you not have testosterone very much. Maybe it's just being sad and depressed for too long makes that do that. I don't know. Then again, maybe low testosterone feeds into that. Maybe it'll be a cycle back and forth. I don't know. I'm just saying I would like to still try the other routes at least before that, just because I am scared and nervous about, one, not only being able to afford it long term if I lost medical insurance, because like what if I do wind up taking it, then I lose my medical insurance? Well, then how am I going to afford it? And what will happen if I can't afford, like if I start taking a medication and then I can't afford to keep taking it? Especially if it's a medicine that once you start, you have to keep taking. Plus, I'm a little bit prideful and I feel like I'd be a little ashamed of myself and feel like there's something wrong with me and feel like people would judge me and people would have an issue with me for having to be dependent on something like that. Like I feel like people would treat me differently. And there's also the fact that I'm concerned about, one, psychological effects, health effects. I mean, would it make me sick? Would it cause nausea? Would it cause worse psychological issues? Like, it's, one, I would like to be able to fix things naturally as much as possible, if possible. But it's also an issue of, it's just something I'm very nervous and uncomfortable about. So, Yeah. But I would like to see, like, if the therapy and that stuff, if that, and maybe just making a few things in my normal life better, like getting a full night's sleep. On the other hand, I mean, you guys would probably get less videos, but then again, no matter what, I want to spend more time at the gym lifting weights. I want to spend some more time playing my guitar. I want to try to draw more. I want to be more social, maybe have a girlfriend, and, be able to spend time with that person. But even if I was a super busy person, I would still make videos from time to time. It's just, I definitely wouldn't make it with the frequency. But heck, even if I had no hobbies at all, I mean, just getting a normal day's sleep. I say day because I work third shift. That's another thing. If I wanted to get in the job in that office, it's not going to be a fucking third shift job. So I'd be working during the day, which means I'd actually be able to sleep at night like a normal human being. Maybe that's another thing that influences my sleep schedule. Just the fact that I sleep during the day and I'm awake all night. Human beings are not meant to be nocturnal. If we were, we'd have night vision. But yeah, I'll probably post a video after this with like Jack Hanma being really buff or something. And I'll just maybe play 1 or 2 songs out of the 13 hours. It'll be ones that I think I did a good job at singing and where I sound happy. But yeah, it's just, like I said, at least a good thing about me recording that video and re-listening to it was just that if I hadn't recorded me crying like that, I would have just written it off as nothing. Like, okay, fine, I cried enough to vomit. Whatever, it's not a big deal. I'm sure other people have done that before. It's fine. Human beings cry. It's not that big a deal. But listening to the video, I'm like, yeah, I should see a fucking therapist. So, like I said, I'm going to be seeing a therapist, but how do I, what's normal for that? What would I even talk about? And even then, is there certain things I should avoid talking about with a therapist? Because I don't want them to think I'm crazy or some shit. I don't want the therapist to be like, yep, we're going to prescribe all these fucking hardcore psychoactive drugs for you. It's I'd rather avoid medications, especially that I feel very nervous and scared and uncomfortable with. Plus, I just feel again, if I become dependent on taking that, what happens if I lose my medical insurance? I wouldn't be able to get it anymore. And then what would the effect on me be? Plus, it's just, even if it does the intended thing, I'm not sure, and, every person's brain is different. So, and I do want to try to do a CAT scan and an MRI and an MRA. And an MRI and an MRA are different things. And a CAT scan is still a different thing, too. And it probably would also be an additionally good idea to do that just because, my family has issues of strokes and aneurysms. So doing so, even aside from the reasons for which I wish to get scans of my brain done, it would be a good idea because it would help spot any, potential aneurysms or strokes going to happen. Because like I said, that is a thing that happens in my family. That is something that I'm actually, based by my hereditary issues, would be very likely to be an issue. So, my mom had 3 strokes and aneurysm, and she just, it was a miracle she survived that. And that was years ago. My eldest sister, she's 33, it just went pop one day, and Well, that was that. And now I should end the video because otherwise I'm going to start crying. So, hope everyone out there had a day. And are there things I shouldn't tell my therapist? And yeah. Oh, and look, go watch the links below because the people down below are good people. Bye.